towards you. I just want to make sure we're going off real quick. Yeah, okay. And let's make sure we lower this. We'll get it going real quick and just jump over. Boom, we're on there. Yippee! All right.
You're listening to EC Radio on the Disruption Network.
They brought their fucking toys with them. I'd rather have them playing with their toys than playing with themselves.
They're too dumb to play with themselves.
Disruption Networks.
The following program is an exclusive Disruption Networks production.
Hey, it's Adeline Van Dyke from Coldwell Banker Faith Properties in Utica. I always get asked, why do I love real estate? It's very simple. I love my clients. I love every single thing about helping them find or sell their home. Making sure the home is solid and ready for sale or solid and ready for the buyer's inspection. To making sure that they're getting the best rate on their mortgage. Making sure they're getting the best price on their house. You know, just everything involved in the sale is vital. My absolute favorite part of real estate is when a buyer walks into the house they're going to buy. I can feel it before they even know they're loving the house. It's just that obvious. So I'd love to experience that feeling with you. So give me a call. Adeline Van Dyke, Coldwell Banker Faith Properties, 315-404-6431. Or you can find me on Facebook or visit my website at centralnewyork.com/Adeline. Thank you, and I look forward to welcoming you home.
When it's your hard-earned money on the line that you are investing into a home, it makes sense to choose a proven professional to assist you in making one of the biggest investments you may ever make. Josh's dedication of over 20 years to the home construction industry allows him to bring knowledge and experience to your doorstep. That means you can feel confident and comfortable with his service to you. Past clients love his attention to detail and thorough written reports. By allowing Priceless Inspections to help you make a well-informed decision concerning your property, you will find that a quality inspection is priceless. Follow Priceless .com.
Welcome to EC Radio Podcast. We would like to thank all of our sponsors for joining the Disruption team, and we hope that you will support all of our sponsors. And of course, we appreciate you listening to this program.
EC Radio, Disruption Networks. EC Radio, Disruption Networks.
Monday. What's up, everybody? It's Z. It's EC Radio. How are ya? You made it through a weekend. I barely did. Had a wild one this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Z here, Chicken here, joining us today. And we're going to get into this later on. We got a new show that's going to be launched on the D really, really soon. It's going to be a baseball podcast, and it's going to feature our man over here, JP Scholefield. So we're looking forward to that. JP, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
Good to see you.
You too.
We'll talk about the baseline later on a little bit because let me tell you something, bro. Something around town. Like, I was going out all weekend long, right? I went to the hockey game, UC hockey game, went to Nail Creek. I was bouncing around. We went to Wakely's on Friday.
Great
We're
time.
bouncing around.
Great
And everybody that I talked to, and you know I know a lot of goddamn people in this freaking town, everybody I talked to was like, Z, do you know what's going on with the Uptown, man? Do you know what's going on? I hear the Uptown's going to be happening. It's really, really soon. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's get the dude on the horn and find out what's going on
right
at
from
the
the horse's
Uptown.
mouth.
Let's hear it right from the horse's mouth. So joining us today on EC Radio, it's my privilege to announce our new friend to the show, Devin Mahoney. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Let me get you over here to the whole. There we go. It's always a work in progress over here. Bam, there you are. Ouch.
Wow.
Bam, there you are. Devin, how are you, man?
I'm fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking to me. I'm super excited about all this.
Bro, you are the most talked about dude in town, and you're not even living in town right just yet, man. Everybody wanted to know.
That's one of the cooler things that's ever happened to me. And if I could have, if I had tried to orchestrate it like that, it never would have worked out. But I'm excited that people are talking about the Uptown, and I can't wait to fill everyone in on what we have in store and what we're going to be doing. And it's a pleasure to talk to you guys. I'm excited to get back to town in a couple weeks, and so it's a thrill for me to be talking to you ahead of time and to check in with everybody there.
Now let's give everybody a little background in yourself. You grew up in the 315, is that correct?
South Utica.
Southside.
Southside, baby.
Southside.
Is there a gang sign for the South Side? They got a gang sign? You know how the West Side's got like this? Is
That's
there?
the dollar bill sign.
It's tricky because it's that concave S. It's hard to do with fingers. We'll come up with something. We'll figure out some sort of UT we could probably do somehow. But
there you go. That was good.
No hand jibes as of yet. But no, yeah, I grew up in South Utica. I went to Lourdes and I graduated from Notre Dame.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, man.
Easy,
yeah.
easy.
Exactly.
You're one of those too.
You're sitting right next to one of those.
And,
I'm kidding with you.
I left Utica. I came back for a couple years after college, and then I had a business degree, and then right after I graduated from college, 9/11 happened, and everybody panicked, and they decided that business was canceled, and the world wasn't going to go on, and I couldn't find a job. So like most people who can't find jobs, well, not most of them, but half of them, I went back to school. So I went to school at Syracuse. I got my master's in TV and film at the Newhouse School, and that brought me out to California, where I got into television comedy writing is what I've been doing for the better part of the last 15 years, and didn't really have any plan on coming home to Utica anytime soon, but this opportunity sprung up, and it was too good to pass up, and so here we come. I'm excited to get back to town.
You're gonna wait till like after the winter, of course, right? Coming from California, coming to Utica.
I didn't time it quite right. I'm shipping it out in about 2 weeks, so I get to see the end of it.
Right on.
But 67 on Thursday.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. I mean, if you people don't believe in climate change, just come to Central New York. One day it's 60, and the next day it's minus 20.
All 4 seasons in 1 week.
Exactly. One day. But anyways, Devin, have you been through the Uptown lately? We're about to have like we're going to have an online meeting right now, bro. Yeah. I'm well-versed in that theater, by the way. I've done a few shows in that place many times. We've done some EDM shows in the Utica Music and Arts Fest and stuff. It's an old building.
Yeah, like Saliva play there.
We had Saliva play there, Fuel. Yep, there was a lot of, we've had a lot of bands come out of there. Anyways, that's an old building. You're well prepared on what's going to happen inside there, right?
Yeah, we have a vision for it, and it's I'm thrilled because it's a historic building. I grew up right up the street from it, and I saw my first Star Wars movie there. And I saw Mars Attacks there, and everything. All these things in between, and to see it sitting there closed was a shame. And I kind of said to a buddy of mine as a joke when I was walking by, I took a picture and said, I should buy this place, kind of as a lark, and here we are now. I'm leaving LA and I just sold my house, and I'm moving back to town to open it up. So it's thrilling, and I'm excited to have everyone help out because I'm going to need it all.
Yeah, man, you got friends here at Disruption Network, and anything you need, brother, I'd be more than happy to help you. Like I said earlier, that place has a special place in my heart too, just because we've done a bunch of events there throughout the years, and it's good to see that you're bringing it alive, man. And South Utica needs that anchor right now to really create that hub, and Utica as well.
Utica
absolutely.
All together, absolutely.
You got a city of 60,000 with no movie theater.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about movie theater. What's your plans? What are you guys gonna do?
We are going to do it all a little bit. We're going to do live music, comedy, guest speakers, movie screenings, independent movies. You know, you're not gonna have to drive to Albany or Syracuse to see an independent movie.
Beautiful
stuff you've seen 100 times.
You mean all the stuff that's nominated for Oscars?
Yeah. That stuff, but you know, marathons too. You know, Bill Murray movie marathons and event stuff. And you know, whatever you guys want to see, we're gonna put it out. You know, we're gonna open it up. A big part of this is we want to, you know, co-create it with the community and have you guys be a big part of what it is. Listen, you guys are gonna be the audience, right? So we might as well see what everybody wants to see and bring it in. This for me was an opportunity I saw that place sitting there. My wife and I had been thinking, you know, my wife is the co-founder of UTCA, which maybe we can talk about in a minute, but, you know, had been talking about coming home over the years and never really saw an opportunity to apply what we do. So when I saw that building sitting there empty, you know, it kind of got the gears turning and really got me excited to think of the possibilities of what we could turn that space into. So movies, you know, classic movies, what you want to see, you know, something you've seen a million times, but you haven't seen with 100 of your buddies, you know,
or on a big screen.
That community experience, that's at the heart of that. You know, people went away from that, going home to DVDs and watching stuff at home.
Yeah, Netflix.
And you know, people I think a lot of times, forget they'll wait for Netflix and you know, aside from those big movies like Jurassic Park that you kind of have to see on the big screen, every movie is the movie-going experience, I think, is a special thing that we've kind of lost a little bit, and that communal thing of everybody experiencing something at the same time. And so not just for movies, but to bring in that place has a decent capacity, bring in some musical acts, open it up to some local people, let them get on stage, and then you know, comedy is going to be a big part of it because that's my background. You know, aside from working in television sitcoms for about 15 years, I've done improv training. I do improv training. I'm at the Second City out here in Hollywood right now. So I've been, you know, performing and practicing for 10 years. So we're going to put together classes and workshops and let people in town get up and play and have fun and laugh at their friends. And so it's very much going to be a place where people can come together and just hang out, I think.
Plug your YouTube channel, because I know you do some skits on YouTube. I've seen some things over the weekend, man. Plug that.
So I have a web series that I created with some buddies. It's called 30 Nothing. It's on YouTube and Facebook, and it's just kind of a series that some friends and I, who are all working, you know, at the time when we made it, we're all working as kind of assistants and understudies in TV, making this stuff professionally by day, and all just kind of decided we should get together and make something that we wanted to do. So 30 Nothing is the result of a bunch of buddies getting together on the weekends and trying to make a kind of absurd comedy that reflects the state of life as a 30-something in today's you know, world, whatever that is now.
Are you going to continue it when you come back to the U?
Absolutely, yeah. We're writing a second season now, and are planning to produce that, which we'll probably shoot here in LA. But yes, absolutely, we're gonna shoot that in Utica, and I got a ton of other projects that I want to do. And, you know, so in addition to the performance stuff, we're gonna do workshops too. You know, we're gonna teach people how to make you know, digital videos and do their own web series and get stuff online.
Cool.
The you know, advancement in not only in technology but the internet. You know, you guys are an example of it. It's really democratized it, and you can do things now that you couldn't do 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I left Utica. And you don't have to be at a studio. You know, you don't have to know someone with a really expensive camera, because everyone's got one, you know, HD camera in their pockets. So to kind of bring it back to our place, you know, the place where I fell in love with this stuff, you know, saw Ghostbusters, and turn that into a place where people can early on, because that was the other thing for me too. Utica for me when I was growing up was a million miles away from Hollywood, and it never seemed like an obtainable thing.
Well, 3,500 miles.
Realistic things to do. Yeah, but now that
with the internet and stuff, yeah.
Internet and things, and open it up, and you can produce as long as it becomes about content, because there's so many avenues. As long as you're making good stuff, you can make it anywhere. And I've been inspired by seeing a lot of movies shooting around upstate lately. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. Scenically, it's more inspiring than my little house here in Van Nuys. And much, I'd love to see some film industries come to Utica, because much of it is a very, much of the underlying jobs are very blue collar, everyday middle class jobs that people do.
Absolutely.
From painters to transportation people to craft service, and that's all stuff that you can do anywhere. So I'm excited, to bring all that, to bring production, to get people thinking about what they want to make, and to give them a revenue, an avenue to do it.
Right on, man. And the architecture too in Utica and upstate is beautiful too. Will look great in movies. Great backdrop for sure.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, there's some really great movies out now. I don't know if you guys have seen them. Place Beyond the Pines was one that I hadn't seen until recently. It was shot out near Schenectady.
Oh, cool.
It's a what's his name? The handsome one from La La Land.
Bradley Cooper, right? Is he in that one?
Bradley Cooper is in it with
Is that the one they follow them as children, and then as they grow up, and then their sons?
They took a really interesting approach to the kind of 3-act storytelling structure. It's almost 3 different movies.
Right.
Gosling is the one I'm thinking of.
Yep.
And Eva Mendes. But I mean that was shot in Schenectady, which might as well be Utica, and so to see that, and what was the other one I just saw that was shut down by in the Hudson Valley?
Part of the Spider-Man movie was filmed in Rochester.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. A lot of stuff's moved up there. I know, Ron Perlman moved his company to Syracuse and has shot a lot of stuff, and some other things are going on. But
there's some action, man.
Say that again?
There's some action for sure.
Yeah, and I think we can ramp it up. So I want to bring
Devin, I like that attitude, brother.
Yeah. There's plenty of talent there, and I want to I won't use the word exploit, but exploit the network and connections I've made over the last 15 years out here.
Utilize. We'll use the word utilize.
Utilize. That's a good one. Yeah. We'll put that in the print copy.
Now, Devin, let me ask you, did you come back to Utica every so often, 15 years in California? And when you did you notice the change that has been going on in the last couple of years?
Absolutely. And it was, I was kind of bummed out for a while, because it almost seemed for a minute like it's, and I hope there's no causality to correlation. It seemed like it kind of started getting better as soon as I left. But yeah, very slowly, it kind of, when I was there, I graduated from college in 2001, and then was home for, about 2 years, working random jobs, from MetLife to the Finger Bullet to I worked at K-Rock for a minute, and there was nothing going on. The Brew District wasn't there. Everyone was like, oh, why can't we make this more like Armory Square? And then in a couple of years it kind of was, and it was there were people out, and young people were there, who were were never around before. The college kids came out, and then to see this little this little Utica cottage industry that sprung up from the coffee to downtown. I took my wife to dinner at the Tailor and the Cook when I first had this idea, and went in there and had a beautiful meal at that wonderful place.
Yeah.
Spent a ton of money on it on a street that when I was in high school, if you walked down, you'd might not have a great evening. So, so to see that revival, but yeah, every time I come home, more and more, I'm just been more and more impressed by what's going on there, and see the creativity that everyone's using. I realize LA is not the only place to be creative and do your thing, especially these days. So I want in, and I want to come home and just hang out and have a slower paced life for a little bit.
And I think that's great that like you made it out and you went all the way across the country, and then you're coming back home and you see the opportunities that are here. And like a lot of people here, you know, they get that like this town sucks attitude. And I find it like a lot of people who leave and then they come back and see all the work being done. They see it better than the people who are actually here.
Totally.
You know? So
yeah, I mean,
it's awesome.
A lot of credit to, you know, you guys and everyone else who was there and stuck it out and kind of dug in and made it a place worth being. You know, it was because I remember growing up, Utica was flourishing in the 80s. You know, GE was here, and you know they had architectures here. You know, architects. I can't speak. Sorry. And
we had good old
they got architectures here, architectures in some building. But everything left, you know, and the base closed, and it seemed like slowly it was there was nothing doing, but bit by bit to see these things come up and for there to be reasons to want to be around again is exciting. And and a big part of it for me was and my wife, who I met at Syracuse, I was in grad school. She was an undergrad, a film major.
So she knows about the snow. She's not from California.
She's from Liverpool, man.
Oh,
she knows what she's getting into.
She knows what she's getting into. Then that's good.
Yeah, but she's. I mean, she's actually. I should bring her in here. She's in charge of the project now. As soon as we decided we were going to do this, she was more gung ho than I am. Wow. It took a couple weeks of eye rolling to realize that I was serious and trying to make this happen. But now, and I couldn't be more excited because she's much more talented than I am in most ways.
Right. Do you have a projective date on when you're gonna get open, or is that kind of up in the air right now?
Here's what I'll say: it's up in the air. We're still closing on the building. We're hoping we get that out of the way this week. I'm gonna be back in town first week of March. I'm shipping out the 5th in my car. Me and my dog are gonna drive out, and then. We're hoping to hit the ground running. The main theater, it's going to take a little bit because we're gonna do it right. But in terms of establishing a presence and some of our workshops and classes, we're hoping to get started pretty much right away.
Now, are you gonna do a liquor license and all that, or are you gonna?
It's something we're thinking about. It's but that's a little bit further down the road. I mean. Probably eventually, but for right now, the green onion is there, and it's going to take us a minute to flip that building. We're working with the New York State Preservation League to get the building on the historic register.
I was just going to ask that if it was a historical building.
Because we're a nonprofit, it opens us up to state grant money for lots of different things in terms of restoring the building and money for the arts and things like that.
Now, does that hinder you on like certain guidelines where you got to follow like because it is a historical building, you can only do so much to renovate it, or you got to restore it back to like how it used to be?
Well, that's our plan. Is we want to restore it back to its full glory, to like when it's open. You know, we're going to do it. It's not, you know, we got the building from Tracy, and she did a lot of good work. She put a lot of money into, you know, ripping out, you know, they massacred that building in there. It's sad in there, but she because of what they did to it in the 90s, you know, Tracy went a long way to kind of ripping out those walls and making it one big space again, and but just kind of wasn't able to go all the way in terms of, you know, really bringing the space back. But we're hoping to really get in there and make it shine to restore it to its original condition, and then, you know, put in some state-of-the-art upgrades. You know, we're still working that all out, but it's, you know, it's going to be original plus, you know?
Great. I love that building. Do you know how old that building is? What year was it built?
It was built in 1927. It's an old vaudeville and silent movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back then they didn't have rock concerts back then, you know. It wasn't it was just for vaudeville and theater and plays and stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot of that, and there's reading about it too. There's a lot of history there too. You know, Graham Chapman from Monty Python, I found out, opened up his 1988 comedy tour at the Uptown. The Second City's been through there. I had shout out to Joe Caruso in Utica, who gave me sent me the OD article from when the Second City came through there in 1988.
Hey, Devin, I gotta interrupt you real quick. We do have another Second City alumni from the area, from Frankfort, New York. His name's Rich Tellerico. Are you familiar with Rich at all?
I know Rich Tellerico. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's the man right there. He was in High Fidelity. He was in a bunch of cool little movies and stuff like that. And he also wrote for Key and Peele and Mad TV and a bunch of other things. So we got to give some love and respect out to Rich Tellerico. I actually seen him perform at Second City in Chicago back 15, 20 years ago, and it was incredible. And I got to give him some love and respect. Every time somebody mentions Second City, I got to mention Rich. So
absolutely, man. That dude, I don't know him personally, but I have. I'm an alumni of the Improv Olympic as well, and Rich was there and performs there a lot. I've seen him, tons of times, and he's a genius. He's one of the masters. He's a legend. Improv geeks know.
Were you aware?
I didn't learn until very recently that he was from Frankfurt. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
So I'm at the Second City now, and to see Joe showed me that picture. It's got a young Jane Lynch and Tim Meadows were up on that stage at the Uptown.
Jane Lynch,
Quiet Riot was in there. I think Cinderella played in there.
Melissa Etheridge.
The band Cinderella? Or do you talking about the play Cinderella?
I'm fairly certain the band Cinderella.
Really? Wow.
You know what? I might be remembering that wrong. Quiet Riot definitely played in there.
Quiet Riot, Melissa Etheridge, I remember.
Cinderella is the movie.
Genesee Joe just checked in. He said,
in the 80s.
Genesee Joe just checked in. He said, my man, my other man, and them other dudes.
Nice. Big ups to Genesee Joe. We gotta get up with him. Yeah, absolutely. We got to get up with him. It's cool. You got all these contacts from before too, right, Devin? I mean, you've got a lot of people that are going to be helping you out along the way into the Uptown, right?
I hope so, man. I hope you people help me. No, I'm joking. No, yeah. I mean, I grew up there. I went to Notre Dame. My roots are there. I grew up with all this, and walking down to South Utica, taking money out of the couch so I could walk down to Last Unicorn and buy cassette singles and
stop into Grand Union.
Yeah, Grand Union, and the Village Toy Shop was there back then.
King Cole Plaza.
Yeah, hell yeah. So it was. So I want to bring some stuff back. So it's worth. So there's some stuff that kids can walk down to. Put some fun stuff down there.
Yeah, this is so exciting, man. And like I said, over the weekend, I'm talking to so many people, and everybody was asking me, like I had a finger on it. So we had to reach out to you and have you explain to all my friends what the hell is going on at the Uptown. And this is exciting news, man.
I remember sitting at Trip Fest and having a conversation with one of the band members, and he was saying how somebody needs to buy that Uptown. Yeah. Somebody needs to do it. It's a landmark, and it's a great venue for live music and comedy and all sorts of things. And it's awesome to see that you actually did that.
100%, man. Yeah, I don't know. It must be fate. It lined up. I saw a lane, and it couldn't have happened any other way than the way it has so far. From kind of having the idea to Tracy being able to donate it to us so that we can take it over. There's been a lot of serendipity involved in the process, and it was a big pipe dream at first. I expected to find a lot of red tapes and closed doors, and instead I found a lot of people with enthusiasm saying yes and telling me who to talk to for the next step. And now here we are. So we're going to need that enthusiasm. I'm glad everyone's excited because it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of money, and it's going to take involvement, and it's going to take people showing up and buying tickets, because without that it's not going to work. But I think if we can get all that going on, in return, we're going to have a really cool place to experience the art. And that's something that I think is important too, a place for people, especially in this day and age, to get on stage and speak their minds and discuss thoughts and ideas and really have a community forum on the kind of things we think are important.
That's awesome. You got a general idea what you want to do for your first event?
Yeah.
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 All right, we'll leave it at that. It didn't sound like
Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas.
I bet you he's got a guest list.
I want to hear everyone else's ideas. So we're on Facebook now. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We are on the World Wide Web at utcany.org, where you can give us your email and sign up to keep up to date for up to date for updates. That's a bit redundant, but that's what it'll be for now. Yeah, so we're just getting rolling. You know, this is crazy for me talking about enthusiasm. You know, because we haven't closed yet, we hadn't expected to really announce all this yet. It got to the point, I think it was only last Saturday now. It feels like a year ago with all the overwhelmingly positive reaction we've had.
I bet.
how
But I was
this
just
Utica
saying to my
grapevine
wife
works.
on Saturday, you know, we're picking up and leaving in about 3 weeks. We should probably let our friends know that we're going. So, we posted that, and I debated even posting it on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, I think, out here, whenever it was, and thinking nobody would see it. And by Monday morning, it had something like 12,000 views and 100 shares. So
insane. I love it. Good.
It got out ahead of us a little bit, but it's exciting, and we've spent the week scrambling to catch up a little bit. But the enthusiasm that we're seeing there already is just making us that much more excited to get going, and it's about much more than a building. So the process will begin when we get there, and then when the building is up, we'll have a big grand opening to reintroduce it to the community. But in the meantime, we'll start putting on some workshops and doing some classes and having some fun.
That's so cool. I got a bunch of people checking in on Facebook. They want to know what's up with the guy at the jewelry store. What does that guy really do? 1, and 2, do you have any plans with him too? Look at the face he's making.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Nobody knows. It's been a mystery around Utica for years, actually.
It's a mystery to me. It remains a mystery. I don't quite know yet. I know that he has been there for as long as I can remember, and has never been open in my memory. But the signs on it looks nice. But I'm not sure what the deal is. I will. I'm sure our lawyer's dealing with the closing, so I'm sure once they close, we'll have a better idea of what's going on there.
He's just got a really high average ticket price, so he's only got to do 1 or 2 sales a year. That's really all it is.
Have you ever been in there?
No.
I have never been in there.
Neither have I. It looks very nice from the window, though.
Right.
Those look very nice. There's some nice old-fashioned typewriters and cameras, I believe.
People also want to know if the Green Onion is staying.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't kick out the Green Onion. That's a great bar.
That is a fantastic bar.
Great friends of mine.
I actually haven't. I have been remiss in my duties. I've been meaning to reach out to those guys and introduce myself. But no, of course, those guys.
They're calling you now.
Listen, they already invested in that block. You know, they've carved out a spot. They've got something good going there. I wouldn't dream about messing with that. We might have to take some of the money and make it a little bit nicer in there in terms of the building. But no, we're not going to. Those guys are there as long as they want to be there.
Awesome, great. Near and dear to my heart, the Green Onion. Love that place. I saw Nick over the weekend, as a matter of fact. Also, our friend Pete Connors is checking in. He says you could put his ass to work. So we'll make
Pete,
sure
I got
you put
plans for you already, buddy.
We're gonna put his ass to work big time. We try to put him to work here around the station too, sometimes.
Pete's on my list.
He's on your list. Yeah.
No, too. I got you, Pete.
Another fellow Notre Dame alum.
Well, that's the other thing too, man. Is eventually once we get this thing up and running, this is going to be hopefully I don't want to get ahead of myself and talk business, but a big operation, and there's going to be hopefully we're going to be able to create some jobs and put some people to work, and in addition to all the vendors and craftspeople who do what they do, but hopefully build out a staff structure and bring some jobs to the block too.
Our guy Todd mentioned that we might have something that maybe you could play over at the Uptown once we're all set and done.
We got something big in the works right now
really
as far
big.
as the documentary goes.
Fantastic.
So, awesome.
And it's very important for everybody to know and learn. And if we do this and we get it up there, it'd be fantastic.
We'll talk a
Well,
little
listen,
bit more about that.
yeah, the whole point of doing it as a nonprofit is to in our mission statement and charter, is to bring culture and entertainment to to the neighborhood, essentially. So we want as many voices as we can, sharing what they do, especially anyone who's doing creative stuff. We want people to have a place to show it, and hopefully create a little bit of a pipeline from here to Hollywood or wherever, so it's not as far for the next person that comes along.
Right. Even, I always say Utica's so centrally located. You could get to Syracuse in 40 minutes. You get to Buffalo in 3 hours. You get to Canada in 4 hours. You get to New York City, which is the greatest city in the world, in my opinion, in like 3.5 hours.
Boston.
It's so centrally Boston, Vermont, Maine,
Montreal.
Philadelphia in 5 hours.
Pittsburgh's what, 5, 6?
Yeah, so you could get to all these great cities within, reasonable amount of time. So I think Utica is perfectly located, centrally located.
It's in a great spot, and I think the thing that it has going for it the most is the people. It's a remarkable community. It was a great place to grow up.
Yeah.
And I used to say it was a great place to leave, but I also think it's a great place to come back to, and especially to see everything that's going on, the way that this community engages, and takes stuff on, like the Heart Run. When they do it, they're the best at it.
That's the best example
that
you
kind
could
of
give right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they
a
go
Boilermaker.
hard at it. So I hope that we can live up to doing justice to what everybody deserves. But I think if people get behind this, there's no way it won't be a success.
Yeah, I can't see it failing.
There's
It's
definitely
gonna be
new
good.
energy coming around this area.
And there is.
Definitely.
You know what else, Devin, is going on in Utica? You see a lot of kids that would generally leave the area to go to Wade College or whatever, but now Utica College cut their tuition in half pretty much. People are staying, and they're actually doing positive things in the community. So these kids are not leaving Utica, and they're staying put and doing cool things, And, we need more of that, too.
We do. We need more.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about somebody that's been destined for this, though. If you knew Devin when we knew Devin back in the day, you would know that he was destined to do something like this, in terms of comedy especially. But we always knew he would aspire to big things in the entertainment industry once we found out that he was out there and doing it. So, Devin, from everybody that knew you when we were kids, we're all real proud of you.
That's so kind of you, man. And I mean, that's it's just so strange to have such a warm homecoming and to hear people say nice things like that. It's not every day you get to move home and everyone's calling up and saying nice things about you.
Just don't check topics.
Don't
Because somebody probably already went in there and said, "Oh, it's a piece of shit. I went in there, it sucked."
Don't even bring that up. Don't even bring that up. Move on. Don't even say that word on this radio show.
That's legitimizing.
There's always going to be naysayers, right? And
Fuck the naysayers.
And that was I think that was the previous Utica attitude. Is
exactly.
This is going to fail. We don't the subconscious, we don't deserve this thing, and attitude, and I think that's something that Utica's finally overcome. Is we live here, we deserve a cool place to live, and all the good things that go with it. And I'll tell you, I was impressed. I was home over the holidays, and I met up with one of the New York Preservation League people, 3 of them, who were in town to check some stuff out, and we were talking to about a grant. So we took him in for a tour of the theater, and then I essentially gave him a tour of the whole town, and they were blown away. They loved it. The architecture and all the buildings are historic and beautiful, and we have all the things you want in a community. So to see it through their eyes, coming in from these people who do this for a living in terms of historic buildings and reviving communities. They were very excited to see that rebirth, especially with the refugee population. So it's Utica's starting to pop up on people's radars a lot more, I think, than in the past.
Devin, let me ask you something. You got one of your Hollywood buddies coming in town to Utica. Where's the first restaurant you're taking him to?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Right now, probably Slice.
Dude, we love Tucker. Absolutely, the best pizza in the world. I say all the time.
Yeah, man. It took me a
I had
minute
for
to
lunch.
find those guys. It was a struggle for me every time I came home all my places kept closing. I was a pizza pad guy forever.
Everybody was a pizza pad guy,
there's
but only
pizza
after
back-
midnight.
Yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm a wings guy, so their wings are off the hook. So you can't get good pizza and wings out here.
No. Oh, I know.
Wings sometimes, but and never together.
Oh, you mean California Pizza Kitchen doesn't suffice?
They got a lot of nerve calling that pizza.
All right, we'll trade you a good pizza place.
And I usually call in a pizza and wings order from the road from the airport in Syracuse and pick it up on my way home. So yeah, I would hit Slice right when we first got there, and then probably a couple other places.
We'll trade you a good pizza place for an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh man, In-N-Out,
Animal style.
I'm missing In-N-Out. I was excited to see there's a Five Guys around, but In-N-Out is something special.
In-N-Out's the best. I love In-N-Out.
So I would trade a good pizza place for an In-N-Out burger. Absolutely.
How close are
You
you
guys
getting?
got a lot of them to trade.
I see exactly.
Every street corner.
What are you gonna say, Jay?
How close are you getting to the street you grew up on?
I bought a house on the street I grew up on.
Did you really?
So your kids are going to get to grow up on the street you grew up on. That's got to be really cool for you.
It's surreal. It's to be taking these two little city boys, and they've seen more in their first 3 and 5 years, or 3 and 6 years, than I did. By the time I was 30. So to be taking them home and having them live on the street where I rode my bike and tore up that ravine. It's a trip. It hasn't really said any. I bought my house. We did a FaceTime tour of the house. It was how we bought it, which is another trip because I haven't even been there yet. So it still seems very surreal to think about it.
Talk about coming full circle, huh?
It's full circle in a very, very weird way, and it all feels right, and I'm excited to do it. For a long time, the moving home, seemed nice and seemed like a fun thing if we could figure out something to do, but meant giving up on our the entertainment industry to us. But kind of doing this, we see this as a way for us to not do that, to come home and to continue what we do, and to do more of it, do local film, do local TV and digital stuff, and to do it from there, and to give Uticans the opportunity they deserve to have some fun and make comedy videos with their buddies if they want, or whatever else they want to do.
This is exciting, man. You got me all pumped up. I was pumped up to begin with, but now I'm even more pumped up that this is happening. And finally, the Uptown is going to have a tenant. It's exciting. Yeah, so
you deserve a bell.
You deserve.
But
a
you
bell.
want to gauge somebody's seriousness in a venture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kid's moving back to the street that he grew up on.
It's amazing.
Right. I mean, so if you want to use that as a litmus test in how serious someone is.
Devin, are you going to document any of this, like the whole move back and the opening of the theater?
We were thinking about that today. I had a buddy with I had a coffee with a buddy this morning. I was up at 5. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering. I was up at 5 to do another radio show this morning, so this is early for me. I feel like it's the end of the day already, but I had coffee with a pal of mine. I lined up a really cool partnership this morning that I'll talk about more later when it gets firmed up, but a really cool thing in the children's theater area. That's going to be a really cool thing. We've got the Newhouse School at Syracuse is on board. They're going to help us out.
Yeah.
And a couple other things we're in talks to do in terms of bringing in some people to help us out, and our board of advisors is even more impressive. My wife and I and our team. This is new to us. We formed specifically this non-for-profit specifically for this purpose of doing the Uptown. So it's been an interesting process, and because a lot of it's been cart before the horse, because we don't actually have the building yet. So it's been a little bit backwards, but yeah, we've got a really talented, I think, core team of people who know what they're doing, both locally and kind of at the business level. And from we got people on our team who have redone theaters in the way we're going to do. We've got people who have run comedy schools. We have people with MBAs and no nonprofits. So it's going to be a team effort. Just like all of this, we're asking everyone to bring their talents, and with that, I think we're going to have a special thing.
One more time, can you promote how people could get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hit us up on the website. It is www.utcany.com. It stands for Uptown Theater for the Creative Arts with an NY at the end. So utcany.com. Same on Twitter and on Facebook and Instagram. We will. Right now, we're getting the site set up. So we've got right now you can just sign up for a mailing list. We'll have it set up to take donations soon, and there's going to be all sorts of fun incentives for that. And but hit us up on Twitter, and Facebook. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know who you want to see. Let us know what you want to do. Awesome. And reach out. This is a conversation, and we want to be having it with the community, and we want to give you what you want to do. So if you've got a good idea, let's find a way to make it happen.
Awesome.
I like the idea that you said that it's a team effort. You know what I mean? It's not just some one guy and his wife coming in there with like this idea and it's a fly-by-night operation type of thing. You got a whole crew that you're coming here to do this right. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, listen, I can understand how people will be skeptical. People have, it's been tried before doing this, and people hear nonprofit and they get worried. But it's not some tax scheme. The theater was kind of tied up in a very strange limbo and it was hard to get out of, where it was foreclosed on, but no one really wanted to take ownership of it, and there's a lot of money owed. So this is a way for for the bank. I mean, it goes a lot of credit to M&T Bank, who recognized the value in not just selling off this building to someone who's going to tear it down, but to forgive that debt and give it a new life to hopefully live on. And the other thing I'll say is that I would imagine at some point there will be for-profit businesses going in there. I don't want to say too much, but there are plans for that. And we're going to bring in jobs. So whatever's lost in whatever tax money or whatever that people are worried about, we're going to more than bring it in new business, in bands you want to see.
Nobody should be worried about that.
You want to see.
I'm sorry, nobody should be worried about the tax money because it's been sitting there vacant forever. You know what I mean? Now you actually get movement in there. The tax is going to be working for them. You know what I mean?
The only issue I see with the Uptown is parking. That's the only issue. But you got that parking lot across the street over there, maybe in the Rite Aid parking lot or something, or there's a couple spots. But other than that, man, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely.
I see what you're saying with the parking.
Well, I will say this: I talked to Tracy, who was on the radio show we were on this morning, and she has said even with that place sold out, they never had any issues with people parking their cars.
Great.
And parking is not an issue. Listen, I have some ideas about that if it is, but we'll find a place for cars. That's not going to be parking is not going to be the reason that this thing doesn't go down.
Not enough spaces to park is a really good problem to have when you're first opening.
Well, you guys got Uber now, right?
So.
There's
finally.
plenty
Yeah, you guys got Uber now. How funny of a statement is that?
I know, right?
We're into the 21st century finally.
Barely, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Hey, listen,
we got 4 cars a night out there.
We're plugged in now. There's no reason that it's any.
We official.
Yeah, it's a great place to live. There are great people there. There's great interest in the community, and I'd put it up against any other one to see it do things.
I love it, Devin, and you're coming in here with the right attitude, and you're just giving a whole another resurgence of energy into the town, man, and I'm loving it right now. Make sure we link up when you come to town and come into the studio and come hang out one of these days too.
Absolutely, I'd love that, guys. And listen, I'm just trying to jump in on what you guys are already doing. So, and this seemed to be like one way I could do it. So I'm I'm just crashing the party.
I love it.
You're filling a huge void in this landscape in Utica, man, right now.
Well, that's the other thing too, man. I grew up there, and I remember nights when I was, 18 and 19 and 20, just driving around with nothing to do but, go to a bar and get shit-faced. So that's got its place, and but not every night, and not when you're looking for something else. So more than anything, I'm looking to give people a place to go where they'll feel comfortable hanging out and spending time and engaging in a dialogue, kind of. So yeah. Hopefully we can fill that void and give all those young people that are there now a really cool place to check some stuff out.
Yeah, Devin, I'm excited. This is going to be great, man. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here? We've been keeping you on long enough. You're probably sick of us by now. Anything else?
No,
you'd
not
like to
at
plug?
all. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you guys getting the word out. And who else lets me talk this long about myself? This is incredible.
That's what we do, man. That's the beauty of this whole webcast podcast thing. You just go.
Well, count me in, man. I'll cancel my therapist, and I'll call and talk to you guys.
Dr. Z.
No, we couldn't be more excited to get to Utica. Brianna was going to join me, but the boys are home. I have two little boys, and it's the day off, so they're running around. And but I'm very excited to introduce her to everyone. She's the better member of the family. And is going to be doing a lot of our community outreach and our kind of our marketing and really she's the one of the great minds behind this, and in addition to a few other people who we'll introduce you to when the time comes. And we look forward to just getting to town and saying hello to everyone and opening up the Uptown.
Behind it, every great man is a great woman. So
you guys got
a
home here at the D, man. Anything you need, come to us. We'll help you out as much as we can.
100%.
I appreciate that, and likewise. It's I don't know. There's probably some saying about it that I can't think of right now, but yeah, no, it takes a team that's scratching backs, and I don't know, man. There's no Utica without UTCA. But we're really excited to get to town, and yeah, I want everyone to know that listen, I'm a hometown kid. I'm coming back to give back to my community, because I'm sick of living in this big city, and I want to hang out with my friends. And the message we want to get out to everyone right now is we want you involved. We want to hear from you. What do you want to see?
Yeah.
What movies? What workshops?
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Exactly, man. And the Uptown, what's striking to me over this last week has been to learn that, how everyone has their own Uptown memories. And maybe that's something we can share. Everybody, share your Uptown memories on the page. Because I know I have mine. And it's what made me want to do it. And to a person, kind of everyone has their own. So, and a lot of people feel the same way, and we know we can make it a space for everyone who feels that way and wants to bring it into the future.
You should do that. You should run a social media campaign where tell us your fondest Uptown memory. And
yeah, I'll put it on today. Tell everyone listening, chime in, share it with your friends, and tell people. That's the one thing I'd ask right now is spread the word. Tell your friends. Follow us. It's the more people that know about it, the more of a success it's going to be. We want to hear from you, because we want to do the stuff that's going to be that's going to be successful, even if we do shove some of our own stuff down your throat. And we're looking forward to working with everyone and just being in town and being a part of this resurgence that's got me so excited and a little bit jealous.
I saw Rocky 3 at the Uptown.
See, there you go.
Date myself a little bit. But Devin, this has been great, man. Keep in touch, and like I said, when you get here, please get in touch with us, and I'd like to meet you face to face. I want to high five you so bad right now, but but
absolutely. Do one of those, right?
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
All right. Yeah, no, thanks again, guys. It's we're really excited, and it's the surreal is going to become real when I pull my minivan into down Genesee Street in a couple of weeks. But I think this is going to be a really cool adventure, and people are going to like what we do. And I'm just excited to have everyone come out, and I'm excited for this new Utica that you guys have put together. So thanks to you, for doing that.
You've got
Thanks,
thousands
and
and
a real option
thousands.
for me.
You've got thousands
guys
of support
really
out there
like you.
for you, brother.
Yeah, man. Well, it's you guys made it a place worth returning to. You and the people, those people out there know who they are. All those little small businesses and people who really worked hard to turn it around. And so I'm psyched to come see what the good fortune future of Utica.
Wait till you see the Odd.
Oh, the Odd looks great, man.
Amazing.
No, see all that stuff. Yeah, it's popping. And this is going to be, we're going to be the little grassroots brother of the Stanley.
And the Stanley too.
The Stanley's gorgeous, man.
Yep.
That's a big grandiose thing. We're gonna be beautiful, but we're gonna be a little bit more simple and understated, and it's gonna be a very cool experience, I think. So stay tuned. Please follow us, and tell us your thoughts. And if anybody has any old pictures or anything, share those too. There's not a lot of documentation on the Uptown. So if anyone has old pictures, especially the inside, share them with us. Put them on the Facebook page or whatever. And share your Facebook memories, your Uptown memories with us on Facebook and Twitter. I think that's been really fun for me to hear all those. So tell us what you remember from the past, what you want to see in the future, and we'll start little by little.
Yeah, awesome, Devin. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for the last hour, man. This has been great, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, my friend.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yes, in a couple weeks. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me, preach the gospel of the Uptown, and excited to bring it to the masses. And have a great week, everybody.
All right,
You
brother.
too, bro.
Devin Mahoney
Later,
from
brother.
the Uptown Theater will be here in a couple weeks, and we're all excited here around Utica to see what comes to fruition with the Uptown Theater. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. We're all excited. You got thousands and thousands of people rooting for you, brother. So.
Charlie just checked and said this is an amazing, an exciting time for the city.
Yes, it is an exciting time for the city. He's right. So we're going to take a break. Thank you again, Devin, and we'll be right back. It's EC Radio.
Hey, it's Adeline Van Dyke from Coldwell Banker Faith Properties in Utica. I always get asked, why do I love real estate? It's very simple. I love my clients. I love every single thing about helping them find or sell their home. Making sure the home is solid and ready for sale, or solid and ready for the buyer's inspection, to making sure that they're getting the best rate on their mortgage, making sure they're getting the best price on their house. Just everything involved in the sale is vital. My absolute favorite part of real estate is when a buyer walks into the house they're going to buy. I can feel it before they even know they're loving the house. It's just that obvious. So I'd love to experience that feeling with you. So give me a call. Adeline Van Dyke, Coldwell Banker Faith Properties, 315-404-6431. Or you can find me on Facebook or visit my website at centralnewyork.com/Adeline. Thank you, and I look forward to welcoming you home.
When it's your hard-earned money on the line that you are investing into a home, it makes sense to choose a proven professional to assist you in making one of the biggest investments you may ever make. Josh's dedication of over 20 years to the home construction industry allows him to bring knowledge and experience to your doorstep. That means you can feel confident and comfortable with his service to you. Past clients love his attention to detail and thorough written reports. By allowing Priceless Inspections to help you make a well-informed decision concerning your property, you will find that a quality inspection is priceless. Follow Priceless Inspections on Facebook or call 315-525-8725. In the Mohawk Valley, for the best real estate service, you gotta have faith. Coldwell Banker Faith Properties, 315-735-2222 or www.centralnyhomes.com.
Yo, law infidels, that's right. It's Hacker Hameen.
This is Al Schneer from the band Mo.
Hey, this is Corey Glover from Living Color.
And you're listening to EC Radio.
And you're listening to EC Radio.
Live on EC Radio with the Z-Man. So take the pizza out of your fat moron mouths. Sit back and listen before I give you a $5 face slap. You'll never forget, infidels. YOLO.
Attention listeners, EC Radio is not responsible for unwanted pregnancies, alcoholism, domestic situations, missing brain cells, amplified voices in your head, weakened bladders, bloodshot eyes, STDs, PTSDs, ADHD, HIV, ESPNs, CNNs, rapid head movements, and spontaneous human combustion. Welcome to EC Radio Podcast. We would like to thank all of our sponsors for joining the Disruption team, and we hope that you'll support all of our sponsors. And of course, we appreciate you listening to this program.
Love and respect goes out to my homeboy, my good friend, Josh Amodio, Priceless Inspection. Call him today for your next home inspection, 315-525-8725. Thorough written detailed reports, pays attention to details, takes his time, does it right. Construction's in his blood. Give him a call if you want to put your home up for sale, or if you're buying a home, or if you just want to check your home and make sure it's ticking properly. Josh can do that for you. 315-525-8725. A quality inspection is priceless. Absolutely. Big ups to Josh. We love you, Josh. Also coming up later on, too, as we do every Monday night around 7 o'clock, Home Free with our good friend Adeline Van Dyke. She will be on. She's got a construction dude coming on. I can't remember who, actually. I should be prepared for this. But that's going on around 7 o'clock. You can check it on the Facebooks and the Twitch and all that stuff that you can find Disruption Network. All things Disruption.
And also carried on Raz Radio.
And also on Big Raz, RazRadioLive.com. Love you, Raz. Thank you for all you do here around the D. And yeah, man. So, Chicken, this is it, man. This is my only day on the air this week. I'm headed to Vegas.
I thought you were coming on tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. I'm doing Tommy Drama tomorrow, but I got too much to do. So,
gotcha.
We got, we're going to do Back Talk tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I am headed out to Viva Las Vegas. So, looking forward to doing I'm going to do some live video hits and check in, because you never know who you bump into in Las Vegas. But
I ran into Spider-Man one time at the light.
Yeah.
He's sitting there at a light. I'm sitting there like half hungover from the night before, and I'm like, look over, and there's Spider-Man with a satchel around waiting for the light to change. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do last night?
It's like the exact same story, only reverse out, like Optimus Prime or something.
It was Optimus Prime.
Yeah. You see a lot of those street performers up and down the strip.
Absolutely.
Don't take a picture of them if you're not going to give them $1. Though.
There's other kind of street performers too.
Yeah, you got to take a left for those street.
Listen,
street
don't take any flyers from anybody on the street.
Actually, I heard they kind of do away with those a little bit. It's not as prevalent as it was before.
I don't know. A couple years ago, I was there 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I heard recently they've been shutting it down a little bit. So
I'd be like, yeah, on your way, can you grab a pizza and some beer?
One more time, I got to thank Devin Mahoney for coming in and talk about the Uptown Theater for the Creative Arts. It's going to be awesome. There's a great buzz going around Utica about the Uptown Theater, and I can't wait till that gets open and going, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great time. I can't wait to fill that room with my DNA again. Yeah.
Just so we can correct, Charlie corrected us. The website is utcany.org. He said .com, but it's .org.
.org, right. We'll put that right to the top of the page if you're watching us on Facebook. And I also got to mention our new website. It's up. It's looking great. Big ups to my boy, CNY Creative Concepts, my old-time friend. I've known Pete Barone probably for about 40 years. It goes to show you how old I am. But anyways, I got to thank him so much from the bottom of my heart, Pete. Thank you so much. The website looks great.
Doing a great job, man.
It looks great. And, it's amazing what you do if you just trim the fat around here. So everything is looking really, really good here around the D. And if you're interested in putting a little bit of space on our website, hit us up. We got some really fun, unique ways to market your business and sponsor, and we got a lot of fun things that
a lot of things going on right now.
And we're going to talk about some of this. In fact, this is one of the reasons why we got my man to the right of me, JP Scholefield, in the house. We're going to be launching a new baseball podcast coming up March the 4th, and it's called The Baseline, JP, and our very good friends Sean Gaffney.
Sean Patrick should be on his way here now. So.
SPG. Yeah. SPG. You got Scott Van Pelt. Well, we got
the SPG.
Well, we got Sean Patrick Gaffney.
I like ours better.
I like ours is better.
Considerably more hair.
But the baseline's going to be happening really, really soon. You guys are very knowledgeable on baseball. I've been in fantasy baseball leagues with you guys for years. Gaffney wins pretty much every year.
My boy from the D-line, Caleb, is chomping at the bit to talk some baseball,
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, and Caleb's going to be
Given
joining
that
us.
it's his profession.
Yeah.
It's his real profession.
It's his real profession, yes.
He's a
so he's
baseball
chomping
scout.
at the bit.
You've got some cool things lined up, though, for the baseline, huh?
I got some ideas.
Yeah.
We got some things we want to accomplish. Given our geographic location, so in such proximity to the Cooperstown National Baseball Hall of Fame,
It just makes
things,
sense.
We got some things lined up that
It
we want to take care of. We're going to focus probably at least a good portion of the show on some Northeast baseball teams.
You should get a campaign going to get Pete Rose in the hall.
That's never going to happen.
But you would have to, for me to be that way, I would have to be behind that cause. And I'm not behind that cause, per se.
It's never going to happen.
And just not even get into detail, but
Well, you should get Pete Rose on the air.
I will get Pete Rose on the air, and I'll ask him why he had to violate Rule 21.3. It hangs in every single or 20. It's 23.1 or 21.3, or it hangs in every single clubhouse. Every single dugout.
He goes right for the beer.
Because he's been on the D-line so many times, he's like, this only happens with beer.
The lovely and talented SPG.
SPG is joining us right now.
SPG gets a UC at the D.
I got to talk about the fun, exciting things we do have going on here on Disruption Network. We got to make mention, too, big news happening this weekend that our partner and founder of Apple Box Video Production, Todd Williams, is going to be joining a crew. He's going to be going out filming a documentary on the Iboga root, on the Iboga plant. We're going to be doing a documentary on plant medicine, and he's going to be in the middle of Africa filming shaman rituals, and it's going to be pretty epic. So we're going to start a GoFundMe page. Actually, the GoFundMe page has already started. There's a campaign that has already started. It's up there on our site. You can check that out, and it's also on our Facebook and whatnot. So
and this is
go out
super
there.
important.
It's super important. We've
Super
talked
important
about
right
Abigang, and we've talked about how it's helped our friend Emily Van Dyke, and how it has an 85% cure rate.
85%. No,
Right.
Tell me what the rehab rate of success is.
Right.
When they send them to rehab, I bet you
Probably
it's a lot lower than 85%.
Lingering right around 35, 36%, right around Trump's approval rating, right? Right around 35, 36%.
But we throw millions of dollars that route.
Yeah.
But no, this is a Schedule 2 drug, is it?
Scheduled 1, dude.
Scheduled 1.
Scheduled 1 drug on the U.S. government list. And it's legal in Canada. It's legal in Mexico.
Right.
It's legal everywhere else. But the U.S., all because we've got Big Farm.
Yep. So you're saying that they're holding back a plant that could possibly cure people of diseases and stuff.
PTSDs, anxiety, depression, bipolarism. It helps for bipolarism as well as addiction, too. It helped our friend Emily with heroin addiction.
It's weird.
And she's 10 months sober.
Marijuana and this Abigaine, that both are natural substances that actually work and cure people of their problems, but yet they're listed as one of the worst drugs out there.
That's ridiculous.
But yet, let's go and give everybody OxyContins. Let's make Oxy for kids, because that seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and put all this stuff in your body that 3 years later they tell you, oh, if you got male breasts and you're blah, 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 and you can't get your dick hard, you should stop taking such and such. But you know what? People have been using marijuana for years, and they don't have side effects besides munchies. You know what I mean? Here are things that are out there that are,
Right now, I got cotton mouth, though. No, but back to the Todd thing, though. This is going to be big. This is going to be huge for Disruption. It's going to be huge for Apple Box. It's going to be huge for our friend Tucker.
It's going to be huge for the community.
It's going to be huge for the community as well. And,
this is an epidemic.
I don't care if it's an illegal drug. There's only been one bust ever on record of somebody getting busted with Abigang in the United States. Only one ever on record.
And this needs to be out there because
it does.
There's
it's a plant.
It's a plant, and it's a solution to a huge epidemic that we're having right now because the government or Big Farm is just pushing these opiates down our throats.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You go to doctors, oh, I got an arm pain. Well, here you go. Here's some hydros. Here's some this.
They mask one thing for another, for
Absolutely.
another, for another. When you're on heroin, where they give you Suboxone, and if you don't want that, you get methadone, and it just kind of masks you off another. Then you get hooked on methadone, and then you're off heroin, but you are hooked on methadone.
And then they wonder why we have such a problem with mental illness in this country.
Exactly.
So when you actually have something that works, you're not going to do it. You're not even going to look that direction. And that's why I think this is so important, not just to us, to Todd, to whoever's doing it. This is super important to the public.
To the world.
The public needs to know this. Absolutely. You could save – we've seen it save lives.
Yes.
We've seen it save several lives. And, if it saved – and this isn't like, everyone's like, well, it's bullshit. She took it one time and she's fine. No, this person I know personally. We know personally.
Couple.
We've seen
I
this
don't
happen.
Not just one. I have a few.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't like a fairy tale. This isn't like a folklore or whatever. Like, oh yeah, bullshit. This is one of those internet. A buddy of a buddy. No. We personally know these people who have taken it one time and have had success.
Yeah.
So seeing's believing, and I'm a believer. Because I've seen it firsthand.
Yep.
And I think these people need to be educated.
And we're doing that here on Disruption Network,
Absolutely.
and you're going to be hearing more about it as weeks are coming, and they're going out in May. But we're looking for funds, though. There's a GoFundMe page, and we'll be preaching that and spreading that around as much as possible and getting our friends out to Africa to film this documentary. It's going to be awesome. It is. We're gonna save lives. We're gonna help people, and that's what we want to do.
Absolutely.
Here. That's exactly what.
You
we
mean
want
we're
to
not
do.
just a bunch of rejects that like to swear a lot?
We are,
Oh.
but
What the fuck you talking about?
We are, but the other thing I want to mention too, we had a great meeting with Visions from Above from Keith.
Yes.
Keith is going to be
Another great
debuting a new show coming up in a little bit, where you can actually Skype in and have a reading from Keith, which he's pretty effective. Firsthand.
He was freaking us out the other night when
He
we were just
was.
sitting in a meeting. He's like, there's a guy in the other room.
There's a guy in the other room, and
Not
he's
very
mad at the guy upstairs, he goes. But Keith's going to be doing a show. We're going to do one a month. We're going to start off on one a month, and that's going to be coming up probably at the end of March.
It's going to be a lot of fun, too.
And
Freaky shit.
We're going to be doing contests, too. So if you want to get a free reading from Keith, there's going to be contests and stuff. We got a lot of cool things that we're going to be working with him.
And then we also, over the weekend, Friday, you and I were over at Wakely's.
Yeah.
And, we were kicking around the idea of possibly doing
We'll talk about that later.
little reunion over there. But I do got to give a shout out. We had a great time over at Wakely's.
You did. No, I did.
He is pretty. He looked pretty like he had a good time, too.
I did have a good time. I just forget it. I don't want to get into my personal. I had a great time at Wakely's. Nothing against Wakely's, but anyways, yes,
they treated us well.
They did. We had a great time. I actually went in the basement too because I wanted to go in the basement, see what the basement still looked like.
They needed help with the taps, didn't they?
Right, and I solved their problem with their draft beer system the other day.
How's it looking down there? Is it the same or
way cleaner?
Yeah, that was a pretty low bar.
I told him never to go down there with a black light
or a drug sniffing dog.
Yeah, some things can't be cleaned, right?
Well, no, we had a great time at Wakely's. We did, and big ups to Cassidy and then my Los Blancos boys that were there playing too. Kate Devin, who's up for a Sammy Award. So if you're out there on the voters' choice there for the Sammy's Award, click the Kate Devin space bar there. Just vote for her. She's amazing talent.
Great young talent.
A lot of great talent.
Same thing with Cassidy. Great young talent. She got up there, sang a few tunes, and blew me away.
And Cassidy right now is in Boston at the NACA convention. So she's out there showcasing in front of a lot of colleges and stuff.
Good for her.
So, yeah, she's out there doing her thing, man, and it's good to see a lot of this talent. We saw our good friend Big Sexy the other night. He was out there, as well as the Milanos. Both Milanos were in the house.
Oh, boy.
So it was a star-studded cast
Alyssa?
at Wakely's the other night. Nah, I wish. I wish I was friends with Alyssa Milano. Are you kidding me?
She's still looking great.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like the one girl from my childhood all the way till now, and I still had to, thing for her.
Absolutely. Me too. Still to this day. Well, yeah, we saw a lot of people out at Wakely's, and big ups to Paul and his wife Marissa for all the hospitality the other night, man. We had a lot of fun. It was good to see a lot of old friends too. I made one Facebook post and like a bunch of people came up like, "Wow, I can't believe you're here!" But the place looks great too.
We met Arya Stark and the mother of dragons, Daenerys. We were
that's a funny joke.
We were out like in the parking lot doing what we do, and this girl walks by, and I walk over. I'm like, "Oh my god, I loved you in Game of Thrones." Z looks at her, he's like, started laughing out loud. He's like, "Holy shit!" She looked dead on like Daenerys, like the mother of dragons.
JP has no idea.
You never watched Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, it's a great time. But then
it's a great time. Sounds it.
Especially Daenerys. But yeah, she looked dead on. We came up with this idea, man. We should get like a little because I know a girl looks like Sansa, and
we know a girl that looks
like
just like Arya.
So we should do like a little parody.
Yeah, that would be
Didn't you
funny.
meet? Didn't you have a picture with one of the girls from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Sophie
Nick
Turner.
Jonas's.
Sophie Turner. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's-
Yeah, State Fair.
That's
right?
the extent of my knowledge about Game of Thrones. Is
There
that
you
I
go.
know that Z had a picture with one of the girls. That's the extent.
It's a great picture. But off the Game of Thrones subject, a lot of great programming to look forward to here at Disruption Network. That including our two guests that are with us right now. They're going to be the hosts of The Baseline. And you should have, Gaff, you really need to do a doom, doom, doom.
Oh, he's gonna.
Yeah, the show's called The Baseline.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to do something.
You got to put a baseline for that intro.
I'm going to start working on that. I only got a couple weeks.
We need it,
We need like a Seinfeld-esque like bass outro.
No, I'm thinking just like a 1-4-5. That's it. Just it's the baseline.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be crazy.
Yeah,
it does need to be crazy. Bunch of crazy fools getting up there and
I see what you did there.
We'll throw a little crazy in there.
But the Baseline's going to debut on March the 4th on Disruption Network. It's going to be our baseball podcast. We did the D-Line with host over here, Chicken. He
That's
had his
kind
football
of where the
podcast
baseline's
going.
coming
heard of that
from.
show.
Yeah,
we're piggybacking off the line theme, you know.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that D-line thing.
We got to get a we got to get a basketball podcast going with the foul line.
Good
And then we got to get a hockey one for the blue line.
That's what Jay Stevens said that last
Goal
night.
line.
He goes,
Blue line, goal line, red line.
Blue Line sounds like a cop show, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
The Thin Blue Line.
Oh, that was a movie, right? Yeah.
It may have been actually.
But I got to mention, though, Gaffney has been – now, the Electric Company Fantasy Baseball League, me and Eric Leo started that 15 years ago. It's been going on for 15 years. And Gaffney joined us about 9 years ago, and he's won 7 times.
It's only been
so
4.
I'm going to tell you what an aficionado he is on baseball. The guy's a genius. So we're not coming to the plate with some scrubs host. Not at all. These guys know their shit. They know their baseball.
Although I heard he doesn't fare as well with the football, fantasy football.
I do. I don't do fantasy football with these guys.
According to, like,
I should
Soja.
jump into that.
No, I'm done doing any fantasy with you.
I come in second place to Dave Soja every single year in fantasy football.
He had to make it a point to let me know.
Yeah, I'm like the Buffalo Bills of fantasy football. I lose in the championship every single year.
Scott Norwood.
Scott Norwood's always my kicker. It's probably my problem.
You are a fantasy baseball expert though, bro. You really are. Are you guys gonna?
He is the closer.
Man.
He's the
I
closer
enjoy
monkey.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna focus on some fantasy?
Oh yeah,
topics?
we're planning on throwing in some fantasy
Absolutely.
content in there, and we're gonna cover I think pretty much every aspect of baseball. You know, whether it's pro, local, fantasy baseball. You know, we're gonna try to touch on everything pretty much.
Bandage said as he's coming after you this year. He said second place was just a stepping stone to the top.
The only way that Bandage or Gaffney is getting anywhere is taking a plethora of players off my team
here we
to
go.
enhance their own
A
team.
plethora? What is a plethora?
I'm just gonna give Gaffney my $100 right now. I'll stay in 5th place like I am every year, and just it's a fun day when we get together and draft. Though it is.
It's a good.
That's worth
yeah,
$100 alone for me.
It really is too. The stories we've had over the years. Last year, Robbie Danger getting locked in the bathroom. We're all
doesn't
sitting there.
surprise me.
We're sitting there. The food gets delivered, which there always seems to be a problem with that too. But the food gets delivered. We're sitting there eating and picking players, and I don't know. A half hour goes by, and we're like, "Where the hell is Robbie?"
It was his turn for a while.
It was his turn for a while. And we're just all kind of sitting there shooting the shit, and
he's texting me, "I'm locked in the
where
bathroom."
the hell is Robbie Danger?
Locked in the
And
bathroom.
Leo says, "Oh yeah, by the way, I've had some problems with my bathroom door, so don't close it all the way." That's probably where Robbie is. He's probably up there trying
So
to
here
get
comes
out.
here comes Robbie about 20 minutes later downstairs with the fucking doorknob in his hand.
Yeah, he had to drill it out. Like somehow he got a drill into the bathroom, and they drilled the hinge right off the door or something. I don't know.
I love Robbie, but he needs to change his name to Robbie Disheveled.
But actually, we're going to switch it up, though, this year with this Fantasy Baseball League. We're going to actually do it here live on the D, actually, on a Sunday. The day after St. Patrick's
Get ready for this shit show.
I think we're about a month, less than a month out now, too.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
March 18th.
March 18th
And
for the draft.
I'll tell you, drafting up at Leo's has been awesome.
Yeah,
he's got
absolutely.
a cool spot up there, and it's always fun going up there.
And the bar's always stocked.
Oh, yeah, he takes care of us.
It's
pretty-
always like
pretty
the
well.
Super Bowl party leftovers.
And,
And it's, I mean, you have a Mike's Hard Lemonade, you piggyback that with a Schlitz, It's a hodgepodge of wonderful goodness.
But yeah, I'm excited to get down here and do the draft down here, and this, a nice change of pace over the early years I was in the league doing it at the EC the day after St. Patrick's Day parade. Oh my!
I don't know how comfortable I am with the public's potential judgment of a lot of our picking. But
Fuck them.
Yeah, right. If you care,
it's gonna be a highly analyzed draft, I'm sure. But I'm gonna like it.
No,
it's gonna give a foundation for our show. We're looking forward to it too.
So are you guys going to come hang with us at St. Patty's Day the day before?
No.
Live at O'Donnell's?
Oh, well, I can come down and do the live thing. No drinking, though.
Yeah, I've got to do the work thing that night, too, so I'm not. But the draft the next day, and this, guys, this is a dream come true for me. Leo and I, and you guys all know Eric Leo is one of my best friends. We've talked about doing this as far as, like, having a show type, like, record, document this whole draft that goes on, because there's so much bickering and nonsense that goes back and forth and ball breaking that goes on. It's some funny shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. We create some funny shit.
There's some, so much funny shit that goes on that there's like in tears laughter every single year without fail. The many years that Mike Johnson was in the league too I still laugh about that stuff. It just pops in my head sometimes and. Get a good laugh about that.
I'm glad you brought it up, because every time we go in a draft, there's a Johnson story that comes up.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite, this would be Johnson drafting, right? He'd come in so cold and just bought a magazine at Rite Aid, so he'd come in cold.
Let me guess, he has a Dunkin'
Reading
Donuts
it on
cup
the
in
way.
his hand.
Dunkin' Donuts cup in his hand. He's drinking coffee, and he comes in, and he'll be like, all right, he'll look at it. His first pick would be like, all right, Carlos Gonzalez. Who's he now?
First pick.
His first pick.
Fifth overall.
Or he'll be like, he's good, right? You're picking him first, aren't you? Like,
I think the only time he didn't ask is when it was a Yankees player, too.
Right.
His whole team was Yankees.
Well, that's funny. The only year he won the league, he had all Yankees on the team. It was the year they won the World Series in 2009.
2009.
Yeah, and he had every Yankee on that team, on his team. And it's funny because he wasn't even paying attention. And come like August, I'm hitting him up. I'm like, dude, you're killing everybody. You're going to win this year. And that's actually the money he won that year produced the Chokeslam CD. Anyways, he's like, he had no idea that he was in like first place and destroying everybody. He's like, what do I do? He didn't know what to do. Like, just hang in. You're doing fine.
Nothing. Do exactly what you've been doing.
Just leave it as it is, Mojo.
Don't touch a thing, Mojo.
I can't wait till he retires so we can get like Mojo stories. On air.
We do bring his name up a lot around here, I feel. But he's a legendary soul in my eyes, that's for sure.
If we end up needing a guy or two, we should. I know we try to talk
Dude,
about
I'll even throw in $20 for him.
Too. It's worth just the draft experience alone.
Right. I'll throw in a couple bucks if he needs the money or something. Yeah, so the draft is going to happen on March 18th, and if you're into baseball, please join us. It's a lot of fun, and it's educational on kind of.
Yeah, and throughout the year on this show, we're going to try to update everybody on how the league is going, just for laughs.
Yeah.
But we're fully expecting, a lot of these chairs to be filled when we're doing our show. Mm-hmm. Devereaux is going to be coming down, I'm sure. Caleb, like we said, is chomping at the bit to come and talk. That's a true expert.
Yeah.
That's a guy that knows the game in and out because he's got to go and actually find players to play the game.
He doesn't know shit about football, but whatever.
Hey, it's okay.
He is a Jets fan, too.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm going to try to get some of the other guys in the league, but also you got good connects with professional players and some collegiate athletes as well.
I got some guys that I got in mind. We're going to start local. We'll start with the local scene, but, anybody that we start with local has a perspective on the game nationally. They've played at a high level, coached at a high level, scouted at a high level. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of people been drafted from this area. A lot of people that, we got World Series champions and all-stars and batting title winners, Dave Cash and Andy Van Slyke and Mark Lemke and Tom Browning. There's a lot of guys from this area that we can try to get on the show, and that's what we're going to try to do. But we're going to shoot for the moon. I'm going to shoot for a Pete Rose or anybody that, a Lenny Dykstra, because Nails wants to talk about his plight and Jim Liritz.
I was just going to say Liritz. Wow, what are you reading my mind right now?
Anybody that, those are the type of guys that'll take the mic when you offer it. They'll take the phone call and they'll say, you know what? Yeah, I'll call into this little radio show, and maybe that's how we share it across Facebook. Everybody sees, Nails, Lenny Dykstra's going to talk, and obviously I don't want to talk about the 86 Mets. so much on the field as I want to talk about the '86 Mets locker room. You know?
Yeah, right. Of course. I don't know about all the drugs they were doing. Well, we know about all the drugs they were doing.
They're doing an awful lot of winning.
Don't you feel like the '86 Mets get brought up a lot? Like there's always a new story that comes out. Like, you know what he did in '86?
I mean, come on, look at that. Look at that cavalcade of characters on that. You know what I mean?
I think like '84 to '86, '87 was probably like some of the best years in sports. When you think about like. Okay, you're talking about the Jets.
It's only because we're gonna segue this into the Bears. So
well, no, Bears,
like
Giants.
that's where it was going,
the
yep.
Giants. I think that's the best Giants team ever. Was the '86 Giants.
It's the only thing he knows is masturbating
that's
and
the big
football.
blue.
But you had the Celtics and the
Big
Lakers
blue
at
wrecking
the time.
crew.
You had
Oh,
the
yeah.
Celtics, Lakers
Absolutely.
at the time, and like you keep bringing up the Mets. I mean,
Jordan.
Those years
Wayne
were like
Gretzky, good years in hockey then too.
Those were great years for sports.
Look at the parity that you had in Major League Baseball in the '80s. That's the impressive thing. The parity from really 1980 to now. You don't see a whole lot of dynasties in baseball where you see Patriots playing in every Super Bowl, and you see LeBron James playing in 8 straight finals, 6 straight finals, something like that. You don't see that too much in baseball, and I like that.
You don't.
I like
the
that a
free
lot.
agency, that's why.
If you want to talk about the state of the game of baseball right now, it might not have ever been better or deeper than it is right now. We can sit here and name the first 100 picks of our draft, and they're going to be all superstars underneath 30 years old.
And that's the good thing about baseball right now, too. There's so many young, talented kids coming up. And, it starts with, like, Mike Trout and Carlos Correa and Springer
absolutely.
and those
Bryce
guys.
Harper and Stanton
Rizzo
and Judge.
there's just it goes on.
It took him that long to say Judge.
Arenado,
I'm
Goldschmidt.
actually wearing a Judge shirt right now. I should have said him first.
It's impressive the amount of the depth of talent that goes across the whole league now, and the coverage for baseball is a lot different than it was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
The coverage of baseball is really grassroots, and you can go look up the stats. It's similar to the way that football recruiting has been covered, since the early 90s, and the Mel Kipers are covering the NFL draft. Well, baseball's starting to catch up to that. And
the analytics.
Analytics are really, really, really driving the game more so than any other sport out there.
Yeah, true.
Baseball has a whole sect of people that aren't even interested in the game.
Right.
The stat geeks that really they're interested in dissecting the numbers of the game and making them make sense. And the thing about baseball and the analytics is, unlike any sport, they actually match up. They match up in this beautiful harmony that only baseball can do. And I'm not a stat geek. I'm not a sabermetrics guy. I'm more along the line of I look at heart, and I look at the guy's ability to win, and like, a typical Yankee fan going to bring up Derek Jeter, but was he the most flashy player? No. Was he the best hitter in the game at the time? No. Was he best fielder? No. The guy could win. You needed a hit, he's getting a hit.
He was the best leader.
And that's
captain.
The intangibles are more what I like to look at. And Gaffney's a numbers guy. I know that. He might not be so sabermetrics driven like some of the newfound, the Brian Kennys of the world, but
he's right up there though.
But Gaffney's more of a numbers guy. So I think that we're going to play well off of each other, because I look at the game from a having played, and still when I watch the game, I feel, I feel myself making the decisions. What's this third baseman going to do if the ball's hit to him? Type stuff like that. So I look at it from the player's eyes, and there's people that look at it from the analytics side too. So we're going to try to both. We're going to try to do both.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about baseball, is that there is two sides to it like that. There really is. It's such a stat-driven game, to the point where there's thousands and thousands of different sabermetric stats out there right now. Football, basketball, hockey, you have stats in those, of course.
And it's the stats of it's the box score stats.
Yeah, it's so and so has 20 points per game in basketball, or so and so ran for 1,400 yards this year. In baseball, you could take that one number and you could split it up into
dissect it 8 different ways and say, Eric Hosmer hit 306 last year, but no value in that 306. Right, and that's the crazy thing, because I look at guys like Brian Kenny today. I was watching a little bit of MLB Network before I came here. He's dissecting Eric Hosmer as some schmuck. I mean, the guy's on Team USA. The guy's an all-star.
Yeah,
he's a world champion with the Royals.
Gold Glove winner.
And he's dissecting him, based on range numbers. And football doesn't do that. Basketball doesn't do that. And I'm kind of excited to see that that revolution happen in the game. But I'm also at the same time I look at like guys like Brian Kenny, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but I look at him like sometimes he's full of shit.
I think you need to bring Brian Kenny on the show.
If Brian Kenny wanted to come on this show, well, that would lend merit to the show certainly because he's at the top of what he does. But
now, does fantasy baseball ruin the sport quite like fantasy football does?
No.
Like for the true fan, like fantasy football, I feel like ruins the sport for the true team fan.
I know where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? Like whereas like it opens it up for the fair weather fans that just wanted like something to get into.
Right.
I didn't know if baseball it took that route with baseball yet too or
no. I'll draft a Red Sox.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
well, you got guys like Johnson though that wouldn't. He would never draft the Red Sox.
And I usually try to avoid it myself, but I'm not completely opposed to it.
Hey, listen, Andrew Benintendi's sitting there, and you got a choice. You know what I mean? Mookie Betts.
You root for a guy.
If I got the 5th pick and Mookie Betts is still sitting there, I'm probably going to take him.
Yeah.
You know.
But what if he's playing against the Yankees?
You end up with some weird scenarios. I mean, you could have a closer on, say you have the Tampa Bay Rays closer.
See,
they're playing the Yankees, and the Rays are up 3-2 in the 9th inning. So I mean, it can kind of come into play where, okay, so I want my team to win, but
I need my guy to not get shelled here.
I need this guy to get a save so I can be first place at the end.
And I find it's interesting that you said that because I find it more happening with the closers than any other position. You're always because it's such a swing.
Yeah,
it's a 15,
pitchers in general.
It's a 30-point swing. You get 15 points or lose 15 points. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we take this fantasy shit seriously.
The closers are everything in this league.
They are.
They really are. That's why they go in the first round.
And it's funny. Gaffney and I are in this fantasy baseball universe, something to the effect of and somebody put out there like a month ago a list of keepers and who do I keep out of these guys, and he had 3 closers. He had like Wade Davis and Chapman and Kenley Jansen or something like that. And so I picked 3 closers out of his 6 keepers or 7 keepers, and he trashed me. And he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And so basically, in summation, I'm like, "Well, in my league, if I got Kenley Jansen, Wade Davis, and Aroldis Chapman, we're doing really good." So everybody. There's so many different.
That's so typical internet, though. Somebody goes out, looks for advice, and as soon as you chime in, your opinion on it.
Yeah, what are you even asking for? What are you even asking for? But the difference between fantasy football and fantasy baseball is there's so many different formats and scoring ways.
Every little thing counts.
In baseball that there's not. It's pretty standardized in from Yahoo to CBS to everything. It's pretty standardized for football. The scoring points are the same, and what constitutes as a scoring play for you and how many points the quarterback gets on a certain play. That's all pretty standardized. In baseball, you got 5x5 leagues, you got roto scoring, you got head-to-head. It's there's a lot more. There's a lot more that goes into it.
JP, Dave Rose saying Hosmer's overrated. Sorry.
Listen, overrated in terms of what, though? Overrated in terms of what? I bet you that...
He's an all-star.
Is he the best first baseman in the league?
He's an Indians fan.
He is an Indians fan.
It is.
No, he's. It's not even that he's an Indians fan. It's
he's
that he's a
Royals,
former Royals fan.
Former Royals fan. He's bitter.
That's what it is.
The Royals got their world championship
after he had already jumped ship.
After he disowned
He was
them.
bobbing in the Mediterranean Sea somewhere, watching the Royals ship. He's wearing a life jacket, clinging for life from shark attacks, watching the Royals win a championship.
Just to be fair,
so
he's also a Raiders and a Browns fan.
Well, he has an affinity for the city of Cleveland, and that's okay. That's okay.
He likes Cleveland.
He does.
Have you ever been to Cleveland?
Don't talk to
Cleveland's a fun town.
I didn't.
Don't
like
talk
it
to
at
him
all.
about
I've
Chief
had a
Wahoo.
blast every time I've been to Cleveland.
thought it was
nothing but fun, other than the time I got robbed.
I didn't care for it much.
I love Cleveland. Great town.
Cleveland rocks.
Yeah, it does for sure. But yeah, and Dave's laughing at us right now.
He should be. Dave has "Burn On" by Randy Newman like on permanent repeat in his shower.
That's hilarious.
He loves Cleveland.
Yeah.
Every time he puts it on at the bar, I know it's him.
I don't know so much about the Browns, other than the fact that they're awful all the time, and I feel bad for anybody that's actually a Browns fan. But I don't have an affinity for any team in the NFL.
Too.
So I think I might jump on the Browns bandwagon right now because nobody could accuse you of being a bandwagon fan if in 5 years the Cleveland Browns end up winning. So I need a team in the NFL to follow.
See, here's the thing, though. If you do become a Browns fan and they do well, then you're automatically labeled a homer or
How could you not
be? I remember. Okay, I'm gonna tell a Bears story. The Bears were terrible for a long time. And then
The Bears
still
when
are.
they went to the Super Bowl in 2006, people, they went in 85, but they went again in 06. Look it up.
Listen, Bill
And-
Schwartzky, take a 20-second timeout.
And when they went to the Super Bowl, everyone's like, "Oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon, I'm like, "Motherfucker, are you kidding me? Like all the years that we got our dicks knocked in the whole time, I've been standing there as a Bears fan, and now they finally do good, and they're like, you're on the bandwagon."
They didn't know that you had a picture of Lovey Smith hanging above your bed.
No,
Devin Hester.
it's not Lovey Smith. It's
Walter Payton. I know. I've been there. I've seen it.
You've seen Walter. Yep.
Sweetness.
What else can we expect on the baseline, though? You're going to tap into some interviews. We're going to talk fantasy baseball. You probably keep up to date on news.
Yeah, we'll do current events in baseball and just kind of talk about what's going around around Major League Baseball and local too. I want to talk about the Utica Blue Sox and that league and touch on some things
There's always
like
been
that.
a great Legion Ball going on
Legion
here.
Ball.
Utica Post, Adrian Post. There's been some great Legion Ball going on. Smith Post out in Rome as well. Cronin
Right.
and Sequoia. There's always been
And there's a
very competitive.
whole bunch of guys we can reach out to in those in Legion Ball.
Start
and
covering softball.
New York, the New York State American Legion Championships
Do the
are
Muni Leagues.
are in Utica
Mhm.
in July or August every year, and they make it a big spectacle carnival.
I think you guys should figure out explain what making it to first base with a girl is, second base, third base. There's a lot of confusion in what these are. What a home run really is.
Sex and football. It's all he knows about. That's all he talks about.
But some say first base is one thing. Some things I think.
So you're looking for a standardized
Yeah.
rules of the bases.
Yeah. What are they?
Just the simple fact that you're looking for this information makes me leery of giving you this information.
Oh. Because I think I'm hitting a home run every time, but apparently I'm wrong.
You're not. It's
That's
just
your dreams.
It's just how bad
I
your
think I
hand
hit a
feels
foul
after.
ball, I think.
The one thing I do want to touch on, and I've been wanting to talk about this. I've been wanting to talk about this since the news came out. Is this big baseball news? But Esteban Loaiza being a drug kingpin.
Did you see that?
Did you see that? He got
Pounds.
pounds of coke and heroin.
I kind of have a kid with him, man. A woman's super loaded.
I want to know how long this has been going on. Have you guys had any reports on it? Have you seen anything?
Esteban Loaiza?
Yeah.
I read the initial report. I haven't seen anything.
That's all I
since,
saw.
But that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Esteban El Chapo Loaiza.
Oh, he was with the Yankees for a second, but who
A
else
quick
was-
second. He was with the
White
Pirates
Sox.
and the White
I
Sox.
think did he have a stint with the Red Sox? Maybe
He may have.
Yeah, he kind of bounced around a little bit, but
I remember having I actually probably still have it because it was a misprint card. Now it might actually be. It might be worth something. I mean, you know what I mean? It was worth nothing, but now that somebody could probably do a line off of it.
or cut up lines with it.
Do this in memory of Loaiza.
I thought you weren't talking about the '86 Mets.
This is like the 2006 White Sox. Actually, he might have been on that team. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he actually could have been.
Anyways, that's crazy. What do you think? It's like part of the El Chapo's crew or something like that? Is
part
he
of somebody's huge crew.
Is he part of
pushing that much?
Yeah. What did they call it down there in Mexico? The cartel? Is he part of the cartel?
He's got to be.
Unreal.
He's
Did you
gotta
see
be.
that, chicken?
Well, listen,
Pounds
I
of
mean,
cocaine and pounds of heroin they caught.
That's
Like
insane.
on
For being a
on boat,
subpar,
right?
mediocre, maybe above average major league pitcher.
He was average.
Right? I'm being generous because he maybe had like an 18-win season somewhere in there. He had a really good season with the White Sox.
He made some money too. I mean,
he
it's not
had
like
to
he
have
was
made
broke coming
exactly
out of
for
baseball.
being a subpar major league guy. He was able to fund a criminal empire.
Was he working with
Right?
Robbie
It's-
Anderson from the Jets? I mean,
Robbie Danger from the Jets.
Wait, who's Robbie Anderson from the
he
Jets?
just got busted for a whole shitload of drugs.
Him too?
Twice in like a matter of a
I
month.
mean, you give a sick fucker some capital,
Yeah.
right?
Leon Lett.
There's another guy, Michael Irvin, but it was more on a smaller scale. It was just
that was-
personal use.
Travis Henry was another one, former Buffalo Bill.
Sam Hurd.
He got caught up in some stuff and got himself in trouble too.
Well, they become the money man, and they front all the money for
Yeah.
all these drugs.
And then they take the fall hardest because everybody else disappears.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then the system wants to make a mockery
And
out
they
of
know
it.
that's the name they know. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a more important name.
Esteban Loaiza. Esteban Loaiza has not had this much radio coverage outside of Chicago since, I don't know, ever, maybe?
Ever.
Maybe he might be like a big deal in Maracaibo still, but
he's probably the most famous now that he's ever been. I would guess.
Yeah. He's going to be hanging out with Aaron Hernandez. Or
hanging. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he might be.
That's something else too. But that's crazy. But this year's baseball should be interesting. Early predictions. You guys want to give me some early predictions?
Yeah, I'll get put on the spot. That's
All
fine. Best division in baseball, the NL West.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the NL West.
A lot of pieces going there.
It's hard to.
Why is San Diego going to be competitive this year?
I don't think San Diego's going to be any good, but I think Arizona is going to be a good team.
Colorado
had a nice year last
Frisco's the experiment there. Frisco's the experiment. Adding, you had Kutch and you had Evan Longoria. That's the experiment right there. But they always know how to pitch.
They made some moves.
They always know how to pitch.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner's healthy too. I mean, he missed most of the year
Johnny
after
Cueto,
that dirt bike accident last year.
Samardzija the Shark. I mean that's
you love Samardzija. I don't know why.
Strikeout rate, good strikeout rate.
Yeah, so is his walk rate.
It's okay.
He was a good receiver for the Irish.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Him and Brady Quinn, they linked up a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, and then Brady Quinn ended up with the Cleveland Browns. We know how that ended up.
Yeah, right. Bandage is checking in. He says a 21-game winner, second place in the AL Cy Young in 03 with the White Sox. That was Esteban Loaiza.
Thank you, Bandage.
That's his accolades. So it was 03. I thought he was
21 games.
21 games.
That's more games than Mike Messina ever won in a year in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's on the cusp of being in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he gets in.
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't.
Whole career in the AL East.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this year's class, though?
It's a good class. It's a deep
I think it's
class.
a great class. Jim
It's a
Thome
deep class.
deserves it. Vlad Guerrero.
Chipper Jones.
Now, did Vlad Guerrero piss on his hands? That's why he never wore batting gloves?
I think that was Moise Salou. That was Moise Salou.
Isn't that a thing?
Maybe it was Guerrero, too. I don't know. But, yeah, if you look it up, if you look up Moise Salou, yeah, he used to
and
urinate
Posada, too.
on his hands.
Wasn't it Posada, too?
I don't know if Posada did or not.
Now, do you urinate on your hands in the shower or just do it, like, out in public?
I think, listen, if you urinate on your hands in the shower, you're
Nothing's
kind of
gonna
defeating
happen.
the purpose.
Right. Right.
You know,
I hope Posada wasn't
there's
doing
two
it.
reasons for urinating on
Well,
yourself.
Any of those pitchers on the mound touching
Right,
the
two
same
reasons.
ball every time.
One is for a better grip on a baseball bat, and one is if you got a jellyfish sting. That's it.
Or when you're into it. I don't know.
It's a better grip on a baseball bat, right?
I have no idea. This is the first I'm ever hearing of it.
Come on, you never heard of this?
I did.
I want to say like all the Dominican players are like they piss on their hands. That way they don't. Most of, if you notice, a lot of them don't wear batting gloves.
Just
Look
don't get pine tar on your pizza deal.
Vladimir Guerrero never wore batting gloves because he pissed on his hands. This is a thing.
I hope they use Purell or something. Gross shit.
Oh,
Right there.
Maybe you know how Ken Griffey Jr. put the hat backwards at his Hall of Fame speech. Maybe Guerrero's gonna
come out,
pee on his hands.
Pee on his hands.
He's gonna urinate all over the podium.
That's his thing. Got
hilarious.
him to the Hall of Fame.
Mr. Manfred, thank you.
Yeah, that's why they're all fist pumping.
And that's another thing. Rob Manfred, Rome, New York.
Yeah,
Rome,
we
New York.
gotta get him on.
I'm gonna get him on. What did I tell you the first time that we talked about this? I said main goal is to get the commissioner of Major League Baseball on, the sitting Major League Baseball commissioner, even if it's for 5 minutes and we talk about chicken riggies. You know, that's all.
Oh, that'd be great.
I don't even want to talk about baseball with you, buddy. Let's just talk about the food in your area, because he comes from the 315.
Oh yeah, what a journey that guy's had.
Right?
Yeah, he graduated law school like back in the early '80s, and then just moved on. I think he worked underneath was it Uberoth or one of those commissioners back in the day, Giamatti, one of those. I don't know.
I think it would be cool to talk like old school baseball with Manfred.
I like that too.
You know, he's probably, like you said, sick and tired of everybody in the world asking him questions about current baseball.
Oh, the pace of play rules came out today. I don't know if you saw that.
No, what's that now?
No pitch clock. They didn't do anything for a pitch clock, which is good. But they did piss off the pitchers. Only 6 mound visits. 6 mound visits in a 9-inning game, and then 1 per 2 innings of extra innings or something like that.
What happens if you take a 7th?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how they're going to enforce it.
Or maybe they give them a ball.
Yeah.
So
aren't they going to experiment it first before they put it into play?
No, it's going in.
Oh, it's going right
yeah,
in?
it's official as of today, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, actually. I mean, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to a lot of baseball stuff, like the whole put a guy on second base in extra innings. Did you see that whole thing they're talking about?
On.
I hate the idea of that. But
what guy are you going to put on if you're the Cincinnati Reds? You know what I'm saying? Or the Yankees. Well, I'm not putting Brett Gardner on as the slowest fast dude I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so I don't
But
like stuff like that.
Billy
but-
Hamilton. If I'm a Reds, all right, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Every time.
So it does get ridiculous when you get, especially like in an important spot in a huge game like in the playoffs or something, or even late in the season.
Let 'em play.
Pennant races.
Let him play.
Has the game changed a lot? Like I see in football and basketball a lot that you look at the 80s and 90s, the way those games are played, a little more reckless, a little more, contact. Has baseball changed like that?
Yes.
In that sense? Okay.
1,000%.
I think you know what I think ruined sports? Instant replay. I really do. I know
There
it's
was-
perfect, but I like the human error.
That was
I really
part
do.
of the pace of play today.
They went way overboard with it.
It's
I mean,
overboard.
I think
Football,
it's,
any of
it
it. I
has
mean, I
its
understand.
place.
Football's the
Yes.
worst.
Yeah.
But
Football's the worst. Some of these things that are no catches. Are you
Way
are you
overboard.
kidding me? Are you
and
kidding
it
me?
takes the aggressiveness out of the game.
Yeah.
And I see it in basketball with the flopping. You're
that's-
taking a lot of the aggressiveness out of the basketball
They took
game.
that from soccer.
Right, and it drives me insane. So I didn't know if that happened in baseball too, if they really kind of pussyfied
The
baseball
game,
too.
the game has changed. Well, with the slide rules and everything, that's the Buster Posey rule they call it. Nobody had a problem with like the guys like Ray Fosse getting taken out. Ray Fosse had his All-Star in the All-Star game by Pete Rose. He had his career in. He was never the
71
same
All-Star
getting
game.
taken out at home plate. But once a young, bright, young-faced star gets taken out at the plate and misses a whole season, they create a rule for him.
Oh, Tom Brady? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
Pretty much, yeah.
pretty much.
The Chase Utley rule too. The slide at second
The slide
base.
at second base.
Right.
So the game has changed, but also the way the game is played at its core has changed so much since even the 80s. No more. The Earl Weaver philosophy from the 80s, king of the 3-run homer, that seems to be there's three outcomes in baseball now. It's gearing towards a 3-outcome baseball: a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. And where we used to see a lot of station-to-station stuff, especially in the National League when we were kids, the Vince Colemans and the Ricky Hendersons, they're going to take bases and make things happen.
First to third
on a single, and it doesn't happen anymore.
I was going to
because
say, is stealing bases still a big thing?
it's
or?
not. No, you're
It is,
lucky.
and there's not as prevalent as
you
it
don't
used
see
to
guys
be. Not
steal.
nearly.
You're never going to see somebody steal 100 again.
That will never happen again.
But you barely see guys steal 50. The Trey Turners and the Billy Hamiltons. The problem with the guys like Billy Hamilton is they didn't work enough on the craft of getting on first base. Because you can't steal first. But once you get that guy on first base, you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to turn into a double. But those guys are an anomaly in the game now. Now you look at the guys that are it's all slugging percentage and on-base percentage.
It's all analytics now. That's what's
it's all
ruined
analytics.
baseball is the numbers. It has. The Billy Ball.
Billy Bean.
Yeah, the
absolutely.
Billy Ball. It really ruined
Moneyball.
I mean, it didn't ruin it. I don't know. It became more of a money thing, like you said. Moneyball.
I think the thing that's not ruining the game, but baseball, like we said, it has a lot of parity. Unlike a lot of other sports, it has parity, where you don't see the same teams in every year. But you got to have the teams like the Brewers, and I'm just using them as an example. If you look at a report from last year, it says the Brewers were one of the top 3 most profitable franchises in Major League Baseball.
Were they really?
But they don't. The reason that they're profitable is because of their payroll.
Right.
So they're taking so many returns in at the gate and through vending and all these other ventures,
Merchandise.
but they don't spend it on their roster. But they take the luxury tax from the teams that are over the threshold. So I would like to see that change to a degree where they force them to spend on their rosters, and then we could have even more parity. You would see San Diego not just sign Eric Hosmer and maybe – well, they tried a couple years ago. They tried, and it was just a terrible attempt. They tried to buy themselves out of the basement, but they should be forced to spend the money that they get from revenue sharing. And if that happens, you're going to see more of the lower-level teams compete. The sickest thing to hear, I read it this morning and tried to lambaste the guy about saying the Yankees are trying to buy a championship. Well, you're not trying to buy a championship when you're spending less than last year.
Right.
You're not trying to buy a championship when your 2 main free agent acquisitions this year, other than CeCe Sabathia, but that's a home guy. That's a guy you just re-signed. You're talking about Danny Espinosa and David Hale. Like, who the hell are those, right? And so I don't deem that as somebody trying to buy a championship. And that was the knock on the Yankees in the 90s. They're buying. Well, the guys they went out and bought were role players. the Scott Brociouses and
Tino Martinez.
Yeah,
well, they
David
traded for
Justice.
Tino Martinez. That
Oh,
was
that's right, they
that was a
traded for
trade.
Jay Buhner?
You know, Jay.
Was it Jay
No,
Buhner?
it wasn't a Jay Buhner.
Oh,
trade.
Jay Buhner was for
Ken
Phelps.
Phelps. Yeah, Ken Phelps.
I always love that episode of Seinfeld where he's like, "Why would you trade Jay Buhner? Why would you trade him?" I love that episode.
The Danny Tartable?
Danny Tartable. That has changed, though, but the Yankees definitely are not buying. I don't think they are. The Red Sox payroll is more than the Yankees this
By
year.
a considerable amount. The
Yeah.
Yankees are slotted to start the season 8th.
And
Now, everything that happens throughout the season adds to that final payroll number where they end up finishing. But right now, they're slated to start the season in 8th.
Wow.
And that's behind teams that you wouldn't even miss, behind the Cardinals. You know,
Texas.
There's teams out there that need to spend more money. That they're getting, like people are having a problem with what the Marlins are doing right now, and the Pirates, and are they violating rules? Because there are rules against what kind of team you're putting out on the field, and people are worried about anybody that's worried about Derek Jeter not wanting a winner,
right?
Hasn't paid attention to the last 20 years of life.
Yeah, that didn't just change overnight.
You know, it's if anybody thought that he was in, the funny knock against Derek Jeter, well, he's only a minority partner, and he's just the general manager, and he's making stupid moves. Well, you want to know what? You think he wants to invest even $30 million of his money to not put a winner out? You're crazy.
Right.
You're crazy. And the Stanton deal to the Yankees, he had deals lined up with the Cardinals and the Giants. And he didn't want to waive his no trade clause. Well, that's why he had a no trade clause. And then a deal with the Yankees was struck, and he waived his no trade clause, and he went to the Yankees.
Yeah, and Jeter didn't sign into that deal and give him those no trade clauses.
And he wasn't exactly pulling from a pool of 29 other teams that were able to take on $310
That's a
million.
huge obstacle for him to work around to find a buyer for Stanton.
So I would think that it would be more of a travesty for Derek Jeter, and more finger pointing should be done at Derek Jeter if you keep a $300 million contract on a team that's $400 million in debt. And that's what a lot of novice fans don't get. They see this trade, and it's the Jeter's old team, and there's collusion and all these other things being said. But you should be mad at a Derek Jeter if he doesn't get rid of that contract.
Yeah.
Because he's stupid if he doesn't get rid of that contract, and he's almost not able to get rid of that contract if the Yankees don't take him.
Well, look what Houston did. Houston, what, 3-4 years ago?
50 wins.
Right, exactly. They cleared
110 losses.
They made some great draft picks.
Well, when
made some great trades.
You draft Correa, Springer, and who was the other guy?
Not Altuve.
Bregman.
Yeah.
Three
Alex
straight
Bregman.
number one overall picks, and you get Alex Bregman and George Springer and Carlos Correa.
Yeah, and Altuve's in
Boy,
there
that
too.
Sucks.
Well, he was a couple years prior to all that, but yeah, look what they did, and they just cleared house. And
Altuve's
now
your boy.
And now they got. I love Altuve. I love them both. I love Correa too. And they cleared house, and now they're a championship winner.
Yeah.
And
that's
they're going to be
diagram.
competitive
That's
for the next
blueprint.
couple of years.
That's the blueprint right there.
Yeah.
Now, back to Moneyball. Where does this scale tip and sway? Where do you say, okay, now's the time that I have my pieces together? So you're looking at look at the teams that are early 2000s in Oakland. Tib Hudson, Mark Mulder, Barry Zito, right? No titles. So you got them guys for 3 years together and no titles. Where does it, in Miguel Tejada and Eric Chavez, and it's not like you're looking at and Jason Giambi and Jeremy Giambi. You didn't have terrible teams there. Where do you say, okay,
Raja Davis?
Moneyball is
another fast guy right there.
Moneyball has put this team together for us, and we're at our limit or threshold of what we're going to spend. Where do you say, okay, we got to raise our limit? We got to add a few pieces, and we got to go and get a couple titles. Otherwise, what was all this Moneyball and analytics for? And Billy Beane has traded away an all-star team over the last 20 years. He might have traded away Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
and
Josh Donaldson's
Josh
one of them,
Donaldson. Yep.
It's my cousin.
Another one of your boys right there.
Everybody's your cousin.
So, the analytics are great, but if you're not going to apply them to spending on your team, then what good are they?
Yeah.
And big markets are not, especially in baseball, big markets are not indicative of winning titles. Look at Kansas City. Kansas City's not a big market, and they just went out and won a title. Houston is it's considered a big market, but look what they did. They came from the bottom and did that whole workman's approach to the game and didn't go out and buy anything. So, it can be done. predictions, right? Wasn't that where we went off on this tangent? Was that predictions?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
What do you want?
I want AL championship and National League championship. I want to see who is your two teams in the World Series, starting with Gaffney.
Okay.
All right, well, this is going to be kind of boring. I'm not going to go out any major crazy limbs here.
No.
But I'm going to say the Dodgers get back to the World Series again this year.
God, I hope not.
How can you argue against Clayton Kershaw and that pitching staff? And they got some real good young talent too. Corey Seager, some real good hitters there. Tough division, like JP said, probably, if not the best division in baseball, right up there.
Top to bottom. And I'm not saying that it's the collection of the best teams, but I think in terms of top to bottom strength.
Sure, yes. And then they'll be playing those teams the way the schedule is. It's weighted.
Yep.
So they'll be playing those, really good teams often during the season, your Colorados, your Arizonas, possibly San Francisco if they make a little bit of a turnaround here with some of the guys they added. But yeah, I don't know. I just think the Dodgers are going to get back. I thought they were, and Houston, obviously, the best two teams in baseball
last year. We did. We got the best two teams in baseball.
Cleveland was right up there, obviously.
Well, with 22 wins, 20. Well, I'm sure.
They went on a streak.
I'm sure you're going to get Dave texting in now. Let you know exactly how many.
Well,
I think I was with them the night they broke the record.
22 wins it or 21 wins in a row or something
like that.
Yeah, that was insane.
The Dodgers
crazy
were hot
streak.
too, but the Dodgers went on a huge slump.
The Dodgers slumped away September. They might have won 115 games.
They had a huge win streak too during the. I don't know if it was maybe July,
April, May, somewhere around there.
Yeah, maybe it was. It was like the early mid part of the season.
And they went on a tear.
And then, at the end of the year,
27-2 or something like that over a stretch. It's ridiculous. Loaded with young talent. The Dodgers.
So I'll say the Dodgers.
I won't
from
disagree
the NL.
with you there. But
AL, I'm a Yankees fan. I want to say Yankees, but just to kind of take my homerism out of it a little bit, and I'll throw Devereaux Dave a little bone here. I'll say Cleveland gets back there this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Not far fetched at all.
You
Great
think-
young team.
You
They're
think
stacked.
Yankees do better or worse than last year?
Better.
Yeah, I think they'll do better. I mean, it's tough to say they'll do better when they lost in Game 7 there, in the playoffs to Houston, who were the eventual champions.
Under new management too. So right.
I like it.
But yeah, I think the Yankees are their outlook is really.
I think they're better than a
year.
91 win team this year,
and they're still in position.
That puts you in.
Like you said, when do you draw that line and decide? You kind of have to start adding some pieces to put you over the top to become a World Series champion, and you see a little bit of that with the Stanton deal, but
you just hope he gets off to a good start, though.
Yeah.
Traditionally, these new guys that come over in these
it
acquisitions,
seems like it always happens.
Yeah, they don't start off really
yeah,
good.
Giambi and Tino Martinez and all those guys
Yep.
always kind of started real slow, and the fans start getting itchy a little bit, and start throwing out some booze every now and then,
Yep.
and getting on them.
You say New York fans are ruthless? How weird.
I know, isn't that weird? But yeah, I think the Yankees are gonna, they're gonna have a good year, and they're in position because their farm system is so stacked that they could, throw out some prospects if they wanted to, and add like an ace, during the weeks leading up to the trading deadline, or add a bat if they need a bat. Which I don't think they do right now, but some would argue maybe a third baseman. We'll see, what happens with Manny Machado too.
I think you might see Mike Moustakas make a stop by the Bronx this year for a year.
Oh yeah,
I think it's becoming more and more likely as this kind of drags out a little bit. I didn't think there was any chance of it at the beginning of free agency, but things have moved so slow. Scott Boras kind of holding up the whole process. He's the agent for I don't know what the percentage is of these top name guys.
45%.
Yeah, probably half of them.
He's
and,
Jerry Maguire.
He is Jerry Maguire.
Totally is, yeah. And baseball is kind of getting pissed right now too. I don't know
Well, because he's asked, it's not even the money per year that he asked for his clients. That's the big deal. It's the fact that he wants to stretch that across 8 years, and he wants to load up the middle of the contract and then give the player an out at the end of the contract. And it's just they're not very team-friendly contracts that he sits there and tries to hold the gun to people's heads for.
JP, who's your predictions?
Just to be different.
Yeah, we like different.
I'm going to say the Nationals in the National League.
Yeah, they're due, and their pitching staff is ridiculous too.
Staff is ridiculous, but they never show up in the playoffs.
They never do. Their bullpen is good now. So I think
they needed to address that, though. I mean,
They did.
that was, and they did a little bit at the end of last year, bringing in Doolittle, and
yep.
Madsen, and Kinsler,
and they had
some of those
already had,
other
Matt
guys.
Albers, and they had some guys that were pulling the weight, being the closer by committee there, and they were doing okay. It's not exactly a tough division.
Yeah, those guys would be good for a week or two, and then they would just implode.
You have one terribly awful team in that division in Florida or Miami. The Mets are a question mark. The Mets got a good lineup.
They do.
They really do. The Mets have a good lineup, and if that pitching, comes to 85% of what it was or what it could be, you could be watching the Mets sneak into a wild card spot or even challenge for that division.
And their new manager there too, Callaway. He's Cleveland's pitching coach for many years. I want to say 5 years at least. He was their pitching
Dave will
coach.
tell you.
We're waiting.
Dave will chime in here
Dave
shortly.
is chiming in. They're waiting on Harvey. Harvey is going to come back, right? Because he wasn't hurt last year.
Yeah,
right?
they were
Zach?
all hurt.
Who wasn't hurt?
I know that's right. Matt's Wheeler's another one. Yeah. Where whatever happened to Zach Wheeler.
Syndergaard missed most.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Bill Pulpsifer, Paul Wilson, and Jason Isringhausen.
Right.
Generation K.
Right. And then who's the other? DeGrom too.
Jacob
was the other-
DeGrom
I think
and
he was
Syndergaard.
the healthiest last year. He had a pretty good
He
year.
had a good year.
But, bringing in that pitching coach who had great success in Cleveland.
Those are 5 legitimate frontline aces.
Yep.
And
now your manager is a cutting-edge pitching guy, too.
Yeah.
So you brought up a point when you mentioned the Mets. Who would be your dark horse team? That team that, doesn't have the fanfare, but, you think that could make a
sneak in there
and make a good run, almost like the Yankees did last year.
They did sneak in there. Nobody expected the Yankees to have the year.
I'll throw out Chicago White Sox as a potential one.
I would say
that's a
are
good one.
loaded with young talent,
Yeah.
and most of it is not quite ready for the major league level, but it's close. And
I'll give you 2.
if a few of those guys are, if they do take that jump, that some young players
Ronald
did last
Acuna.
year in baseball. Acuna with he's with the Braves.
Makata, I'm sorry.
Makata,
Yohan
yeah.
Makata.
Yohan Makata,
Acuna?
a bunch of great
Makata.
pitching
Acuna
guys.
means no worries.
Yeah.
My dark horse, Colorado Rockies.
There you go.
Yeah.
Colorado Rockies.
That's
the boys
it's
can
one of the
hit.
they're one of the best line, and they got some pitchers too.
Finally, I
yeah.
think.
I would say Anaheim and the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers.
Speaking of Anaheim, that's kind of a cool story going into this year too. Is
Shohei Ohtani.
That they just signed, and
But he's hurt.
He's hurt, but he's gonna play right off the bat.
Is he?
It
It's the
sounds
Tanaka
like, yeah.
thing.
I thought he was going.
Yeah, it's similar to what Tanaka has going on, where he he's pitching through it. And
Chicken, this kid is the Japanese Babe Ruth, as they dubbed him as. But he was leading the Japanese league in strikeouts and home runs.
yeah,
he was
pitcher and hitter.
He was a pitcher and a
and
hitter.
he's 22 years old.
Unbelievable. He hit a ball out of the Tokyo Dome.
Wow.
Out of the dome. It's unbelievable. They call him the Japanese Babe Ruth.
So it'll
be
be cool
interesting to see
him.
him do something.
It'll be interesting to see how they use him too. It sounds like they're going to go with a 6-man rotation to kind of limit his innings a little bit, and then they're going to the reason why they want to spread it out a little bit is because they have some schedule written up where he'll have his start where he'll pitch, and then day off, no pitching, no hitting. Day 3 he DHs. I think day 4 he does his his pitching routine for the week, and then day 5 he DHs. Then day 6 he pitches.
He's going to be busy.
Yeah,
He's going to be a busy guy.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that works out.
And you know what? I'm kind of interested in how it's going to work out in fantasy. If players are going to have to,
Right, because he'd be a monster, wouldn't he? Because
well, it would be somebody's going to have to take him and use up 2 spots for him.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
that's what's going to happen.
I looked into that to see how Yahoo does that, and people that play on CBS, it's different. CBS, they have him as one guy, but you can only put him in as a pitcher or a hitter at one time. So if you have him in your hitting lineup, you don't get any pitching stats, and vice versa. If he's a pitcher, you don't get hitter. But Yahoo does it differently. They have 2 different Ohtanis in their system. It's Ohtani batter and Ohtani pitcher. So if you don't have both of them on your team,
so you could draft the same player but for 2 different positions.
Yeah, so
that's going to start some fights in
so,
our league.
Yeah, that's why I was looking it up. I was like, oh boy, somebody's going to draft him.
That's going to start some fights.
And then somebody else is going to draft him
I'm
again
not
later in
touching
the
him.
draft.
It'd be cool if you had the snakes, and then you could draft them twice on the 11th and 10th pick.
Hey, you just picked him. Yeah, I know. I'm taking him again.
Taking him again.
Bandage checked in. He said Brewers a dark horse for sure.
Yeah, and he also said the Nats and the Stros is what his brain says in his predictions, but his heart would love to see the Tribe win. Of course, we know that, Dave. We already know that. So.
Wait,
Well,
Dave wants the Indians to win?
The Tribes are they're gonna be good.
Why is
this
LeBron
year.
gonna play there now?
They're gonna be good though. I mean, they've been competitive for the last couple of years.
They
were
have
in
been.
the World Series a couple of years ago, right?
They were
Yanks,
close
man,
last year
that's
too.
That was the greatest
Yanks.
World Series Game 7 of all time.
That
I
was
The
think.
Cubs and
amazing.
the
That was
Cubs and the
amazing.
Tribe.
Oh yeah, it was
I
great.
don't
If it
disagree
does
with
not
that.
win that, if it does not rain, if it doesn't go into extra innings and they don't postpone that game for a little bit, the Indians are the champs.
Yeah, I think so too.
By far.
The luck finally went the way of the Cubs.
You are
that year.
reminding Dave of something.
I'm
that
sorry,
he doesn't,
Dave. He probably
doesn't
just
wanna-
clicked us off that I said
He
it.
did. He's throwing shit.
Well, speaking of Dave and seeing your team lose in Game 7 of the World Series, the other one that comes to mind
Is
is
the
when
Arizona
the Yankees lost to
2001.
Arizona.
Still a great World Series,
was,
though. It
and-
really was, even though I hated the outcome, but it was right after 9/11, and
Yeah.
the country was like all about it was the first time ever the Yankees would have the whole country rooting for them.
Right. And, you know, us as Yankees fans, we were coming off watching our teams win several championships before that. So it didn't sting as bad as it would have, probably as it did for Dave watching the Indians. But
Right.
but that one, yeah, that was, I said it right after the game. I was like, wow, I never thought that I would say, I'm a Yankees fan, and seeing them lose in the World Series in Game 7 was
On
at
a
the
chinky,
time, like,
just
sort of like Greg with New England.
broken bat.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Ugh,
Broken bat.
disgusting.
Nice.
Disgusting. After Byung Kim tried his damnedest to give us.
Can you say
Yes,
that
he
again?
did. Byung Kim. Listen, man, don't mess with me. I've been watching the Olympics all week. I'm pretty solid on the Korean pronunciations now.
That's good.
All right.
I do got to mention, though, that you guys do have a Facebook page. You just got it up this week, The Baseline. So if you want to go hop over there and give it a like.
Yeah,
and
give us a
gonna-
like.
I'm sure you're going to be putting up a bunch of news and
Yeah,
stuff like
it's
that.
a
on that
work
site.
in progress right now. We just kind of put it up, because we're closing in on March 4th here, and we wanted to at least get the ball rolling on that.
Nice.
And we'll be doing other stuff too, and we're going to be working on that page. We've been posting a couple little just tidbits of news coming through. The Hosmer deal signed the other day, and some news about the Yankees, Red Sox, and
Yeah,
and
you can
Mets.
expect.
And there's gonna be a lot more stuff like that.
There's
and-
going to be a lot of them, those particular teams, Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, just given our location, given our probably.
There's Yankees fans around here?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's actually a lot of Red Sox fans around here too.
Yeah,
if
I
you
noticed.
haven't noticed.
And we won't limit it to that either. We'll talk about the Indians for Dave.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about everybody.
You got
but,
to cover everybody.
Chances are it'll veer towards the Northeast a little bit with all of our friends.
Well, this is going to be good, man. I'm excited. I'm going to interrupt your show a lot.
Good.
Absolutely, man. We expect it.
Probably a
You
lot.
can sit in your chair.
No, I'm going to get one of you guys are going to learn how to do this. I'm going to tell you right now. Probably Gaffney because he's computer literate.
Hey.
But one of you guys are definitely sitting in the chair. Anyhow, the Baseline it debuts March 4th right here on Disruption Network. Give us a like, give the Baseline a like, EC Radio a like, all on Facebook. And you'll find it on Twitter and Twitch and Periscope and YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. And also our brand new website, disruptionnetwork.net. .net, people, disruptionnetwork.net. Go check it out. Big ups to our boy Pete Barone for
And I want to stress, delete your old app.
delete the old
The
app,
old-
yes.
delete the old app.
The old app, if you have the old Disruption Network app, it's probably going to give you a virus. So I would get rid of it. If
Herpes or something. I don't
Sorry,
know.
Go figure. How apropos.
Right. You might get something if you still have that app. So delete that app.
You might
Please
get the
get
D.
rid of it.
That is no longer Disruption Network.
It is no longer Disruption Network. Somebody took their ball and they went home. But we will definitely have a new app really, really, really soon. And that's going to be coming out probably in about a couple months. I would say in a couple months.
Yep.
We've got a lot of things to look forward to.
A lot of things going on
Getting
around
that
here.
phone app is one of the things we're looking forward to doing. So, yes, you could delete the old Disruption Network app, phone app, and check us out, disruptionnetwork.net.
.net.
I'm sorry, disruptionnetwork.net. And I got to give some love and respect out to CNY Creative Concepts, my old friend Pete Barone, for putting the website together, and a big assist for Todd Williams too, man. Todd's very knowledgeable on web design, and him and Pete got together, and it was like, wow, you guys are a dangerous combination together, but dangerous in a good way, of course.
And you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, you know.
Yeah, the new website looks awesome.
It does look great,
Yeah,
man. It's
I was
less
checking it out
cluttered.
yesterday.
It's easier.
Looks great.
You know, it's manageable and it's cool. I'm digging.
It's nice that we had a hand in the development too. Like he gave us our.
We finally have control of our shit. Is bottom line, you know.
Our opinions matter.
Right, exactly. Our opinions matter. Good point.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. But it's all good, man. It is all good. The D is here to grow and get better and bigger and better.
D's
and bigger.
growing.
Yes. We're erecting the D, baby. We are erecting the D.
And it's new shows like this.
Yep.
You know, the Baseline come along, Home Free with Adeline, and you know. Then we got the Visions from Above
with Keith coming up,
Yeah.
and also our documentary we're doing in Africa.
That's
coming up in a
huge.
little bit on Abigail, and we're also doing a segment with Tucker too. Tucker Rosemeyer from Slice Pizza, who Devin Mahoney gave a shout out to, which was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
But Tucker's gonna.
I
be
had
coming
Slice
in.
today.
He's gonna come in and talk about his experience with the Iboga plant and everything that's gonna happen in Africa and stuff.
Right, because he's went through other.
Yes, he went through other plant medicine. He's tried other plant medicine, and Iboga was the best one for him. And there was another one called ayahuasca. Yeah, but it was didn't really help him as much as Iboga did. So, and there's different strokes for different folks. Same thing. So Tucker's going to be in on that. Me, I am going to be out for a week. I am going to Las Vegas, baby. I'm going to do some live Facebook feeds.
They're going to give Daddy the Rain Man.
Guess where he's staying at?
We're staying at the D, which it's in downtown Las Vegas, the old Fitzgerald. I've never stayed downtown. I go to Vegas every year. I've never stayed downtown. I love downtown.
It's nice.
I love downtown.
When I stayed at
Fremont Street,
I love Fremont Street.
Me too.
I thought that to me was the best. Well, that and
standing in front of the Four Queens or the Golden Nugget on Fremont Street and looking up and watching the people go on a zip line above you.
Yeah.
See, I stayed at the
That's
Golden
Aces
Nugget
right there.
Exactly.
That's Aces. It is.
And it's cheap to drink.
Kicking it old school. Yeah, no doubt. It's cheap. It's free.
I stayed at the Golden Nugget and I looked out my window and I took a picture of the D. And this was 2 years before we decided to do the D. And I'm like, I don't know. I took a picture of the D and I thought it was funny or whatever. And who knew?
I'm going to do a Facebook Live from the D. You know, the cool thing is, too, you guys know I'm a cryptocurrency addict. They have a cryptocurrency ATM machine at the D. I can spend my crypto at the D. I got a little bit of Litecoin I took out of the ledger. I'm going to keep it in there just so I can say that I spent some Litecoin at the D. So
yeah, wear your shirt.
The
D shirt.
The D shirt.
Yes.
I will. Oh, of course. It's already packed.
Nice.
I got it already packed, brother.
Awesome.
I already got it packed. So looking forward to going out to Vegas and seeing some family. And my mom's out there. Is going to be celebrating her birthday. And we're going to go to a Golden Knights game as well. So
nice. I was going to ask if you're going to hit up a hockey game out there.
And then we're also going to see my favorite band of all time.
Nickelback.
Steel Panther. It's funny you say it. Nickelback is out there.
Are they really?
Oh, Jesus.
They're doing a residency at the Hard Rock.
Oh.
If somebody gives me a free ticket to see Nickelback,
I
I'd
heard
go in a second.
No,
I heard they
really?
put on a good show.
If I got a free
Would you
ticket,
really?
I'd see anything for free.
You would go see Nickelback for free.
Absolutely.
I actually heard. I'm not a fan of Nickelback, but I heard they put on a good live
That's
show.
disgusting.
You wouldn't go for a free ticket?
No, fuck no.
No?
I would pick it outside for a free ticket.
Oh, come on.
I'm not even joking.
I'd go to anything for free. Somebody give me a free ticket, I'd go.
I go to almost anything. I did turn down a Dave.
I'd show Chad Kroger my ass so quick.
I did get rid of a Dave Matthews concert tickets that somebody offered me for free in a limo, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
You know what? I'd probably pass on that too.
My toe ring was being remeasured. I just couldn't do it.
I think that there's some
you need some new
there's some
Birkenstocks.
discrepancy about what's tolerable at this panel right here, because Nickelback just goes.
If somebody gave me a free ticket, I'd go in a second.
I would go to most things for free, and to kind of go along with this Nickelback story, I actually went to a Creed concert for free.
I did too.
Creed.
Completely free.
No,
And
Creed.
I left about halfway
No
through. I
Creed.
was like,
No
I
Creed,
can't-
no
I can't
Nickelback,
take
no
this.
I
Three
seen it
Doors
for
Down.
$10. It was my sister's favorite band. I took her for her birthday.
It was like being at church.
Oh.
I'm surprised you admitted that.
I felt like I was in my own prison.
It was free. What can I say?
Dude, listen, I see what you did there, and I'm hoping that it stops.
Yeah, once he gets going, forgot to stop at him.
But seriously,
Chicken, while I'm gone, though, you're still doing the D-line, right?
Yes,
You're going to
sir.
be sitting in with Tommy Drama. I'll be in with Tommy Drama tomorrow. I'll be in with him tomorrow from 11 to 1 for Back Talk. and then off to Las Vegas. But you'll be sitting with Tommy Drama.
Did he do his thing last Friday? Where he?
No, because that was the whole gun issue.
Oh, gotcha.
The gun controversy. I mean, he's been arguing with people on Facebook all the time. It's funny. Is everybody's
for
like,
the past 6 months.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny because
6
people
months?
are like, why do you even have him on your show? I listen to him all the time, and he really sucks. Why do you have him on your network? Because you listen to him all the time. So I personally think he's doing a great job, and Tommy Drama's killing it out there. So we'll be on Back Talk tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Drama, and then I'm off to Las Vegas. And then, Chicken, you're doing the D-Line on Thursday, right?
Yep.
And then also East Beats a Biz tomorrow night, and then coming up in just a little bit, right around 7 o'clock hour, Adeline Van Dyke in the Home Free podcast. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. So looking forward to
the
getting out on vacation.
Stars on the D.
Looking forward to getting out on vacation and coming back and delivering a whole bunch of great
And
content.
when you come back, we're going to be getting ready for the Heart Walk.
Yes.
So we do have a team, Disruption Network team, set up for the Heart Walk, which is March 3rd. That Saturday was the next day after you come back, right? Or 2 days.
Much.
Oh, you're going out that long, huh?
Yeah. Well, a week. It's only a week. We're in the middle of February already.
Yeah,
February's
we're
almost
close,
over with.
man.
I was supposed to be in Vegas on the 11th.
Oh, 3/11 day. But yes, we got the Team D for the Heart Run Walk. That's happening at Utica College. Please come up and hang out with us. We'll be there.
Anybody who wants to join the team and they want a team shirt, $10.
Yes, and we also do have Disruption Network T-shirts. So if anybody's interested in a white Disruption Network T-shirt, please hit us up. We got it. We got all that stuff, and we're gonna have some more merchandise coming up and later on.
Oh, absolutely.
Later on. So yes,
everything's in the progress.
Always a work in progress. That's for sure. Always a work in progress. So I want to remind everybody you can listen to this podcast and previous podcasts of EC Radio and all our great content on DisruptionNetwork.net, the all-new website. I want to thank Devin Mahoney for coming in from the Uptown Theater.
That interview was awesome.
It's going to be great with what he's got going on.
SPG graduated with Devin.
Yeah, I went to school with Devin. And
we got another Notre Dame guy here.
You're one of those, too.
You're one of those.
Yeah. Pete Connors, too. Shout out to Pete. He's another juggler.
Oh, we mentioned him. Yeah. Pete forgets, that's for sure. We got a lot of
I'm sure Jay Stevens is listening in right now, too.
Yeah,
so
he's out there.
There's another one of them.
All his Catholic school boys.
Yeah, all your friends, actually.
All my friends. I went to Catholic school. I served 5 years at Catholic school.
I wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
No shit.
I did. I did. And then the school closed, and I was forced to go to public schools. But that's where, to shape me into the man I am today.
I served 13 years. Good hard time.
I also want to thank SPG and JP for coming in. I sound like an eye chart. SPG and JP.
LMNOP
on
the D.
And Z.
And Z.
And Z.
Drinking a UC.
On the D.
On the D.
Anyways, I want to thank
Chicken
you guys
watches
for coming
you
up. Pay attention, people. Check your local listings for the baseline that's going to be happening. If you're into baseball, please share it. Like their Facebook page and subscribe to EC Radio and all that other stuff and Disruption Network and like our YouTube page. Like, follow, subscribe, retweet, tweet, share, comment, whatever, all that stuff that you do on social medias. Thank you so much. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
You know what the hell you're listening to?
It's EC Radio.
We are a generation of lost masculinity, and we got to start getting it back. No matter if you're straight or gay, no matter if you stick it in the front or you stick it in the rear. For the love of our sons, we've got to stick it in there like a man.
EC Radio.
Hey, it's Adeline Van Dyke from Coldwell Banker Faith Properties in Utica. I always get asked, why do I love real estate? It's very simple. I love my clients. I love every single thing about helping them find or sell their home. Making sure the home is solid and ready for sale or solid and ready for the buyer's inspection, to making sure that they're getting the best rate on their mortgage, making sure they're getting the best price on their house. Just everything involved in the sale is vital. My absolute favorite part of real estate is when a buyer walks into the house they're going to buy. I can feel it before they even know they're loving the house. It's just that obvious. So I'd love to experience that feeling with you. So give me a call. Adeline Van Dyke, Coldwell Banker Faith Properties, 315-404-6431. Or you can find me on Facebook or visit my website at centralnewyork.com/Adeline. Thank you, and I look forward to welcoming you home.
When it's your hard-earned money on the line that you are investing into a home, it makes sense to choose a proven professional to assist you in making one of the biggest investments you may ever make. Josh's dedication of over 20 years to the home home construction industry allows him to bring knowledge and experience to your doorstep. That means you can feel confident and comfortable with his service to you. Past clients love his attention to detail and thorough written reports. By allowing Priceless Inspections to help you make a well-informed decision concerning your property, you will find that a quality inspection is priceless. Follow Priceless Inspections on Facebook or call 315-525-8725. In the Mohawk Valley, for the best real estate service, you gotta have faith. Coldwell Banker Faith Properties, 315-735-2222 or www.centralnyhomes.com.